Keep and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at sori@gmail.com and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is a community option. $1 at the gate gets you in a Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/VinandSori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed. A child shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. This is the Needle and the Spoon stream brought to you by the big homies Revo and Middle Earth. I'm assuming at some point in these reviews, I will understand why they called the stream the Needle and the Spoon. Having said that, dear listener, we got Revo here, we got Middle Earth stuck at the office. Middle Earth, listen as well as you can. All right, guys, here we go. Haven't seen y'all in a while, so I'm gonna be a little extra today.
Rancid, Daly. Oh, is that Daly? City Train.
Yeah, and that is an entire album. We are doing an entire album.
Lies.
No. We're going to fast forward. I think it's 23:22 is the timestamp. All right, here we go. This is Rancid. Daly City Train is the name of this song, dear listener. Daly City Train.
Daly spelt without an I.
Shout out to DJ AT, who's being entertained and painting. Shout out to Danny Logan.
Oh, I hate painting.
Danny Logan, that's such a familiar name. He must have changed his avatar. All right, guys, here we go. Rancid, Daly City Train, let's do it.
He was an artist and a writer and a poet and a friend. In a man's life, he will take a fall, but how low he goes, it just depends. Yeah, he shooting dope in the metro, at the station, Daly City Train. Have you ever seen an angel? Well, I know I have. See, they'll stay here for a while, then they fly away. Jungle and bears and a summer city, but when it
first song. I'm going to make sure it's the first song. Yeah, it's the first song. That's another song. Okay. That was Rancid. Daly City Train? Is that the name of the song?
Yeah, Daly City Train.
Okay. Rancid Daly City Train. Okay. Very good. Very good. Oh, we got Kai in the house. Kevin Arche in the house. Everybody's in the house. Okay.
Hello.
River in the house. Some of my favorite people. Okay, good. What do you think the song is about?
Well, it's about a man. He also had a beer in his hand. Well, it tells a lot of different things about him. It says that he's an artist and a writer, a poet and a friend. In a man's life, he will take a fall, but how long it goes, it just depends. And he goes from that point to shooting up dope in the men's room. It seemed to me like it was just, well, maybe possibly partially a precautionary tale, but also just like maybe have more understanding and compassion for people, because, well, it's, if you take the name Daly City Train, like maybe it's the type of person that you see at the train, like just all dysfunctional looking, and most people just overlook them as, oh, there's a bum, instead of like thinking, what did this person go through? You know, who are they?
Okay, Revo is saying that there's info for the songs on Trello.
Oh, okay.
I knew there would be a little prefix thingamajiggy.
Well, Revo is the only person that actually has
he's got his own
he's
Trello
got his
board.
own Trello board that I created
Revo.
for him. So
And also, we're shooting a video for you, Revo. Stay tuned.
it's halfway done.
It's halfway completed. Stay tuned.
Okay. So he says, this is Middle Earth comments from YouTube comments. Jack Kennard 6 years ago. Might I suggest a correction? Doesn't it go, never thought twice about being here, not being him. Love all of you who feel this
I agree.
song.
That's how I interpret those lyrics.
Yes, you are correct. Never thought twice about being here. Jim Gray, 12 years ago. I wish I could say this wasn't a reminiscent song about too many of my past and former friends. Toey Brown, 1 year ago, said, proudly, I know almost every word to every song on this legendary album. Fire. Cool sunglasses emoji. Sean Rowan, 9 months ago, said, I love this album so much. And Mr. Christum, the Human Prism, 2 years ago, said, R.I.P. to all the jackals we've lost, but still remember with love and sadness.
Are you sure that that was for the Daly City Train?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, no, I have always called you Danny. Okay, that's right. All right.
Yes, but I think you're right. I think his avatar changed.
Yeah, I did. Okay, so he's an artist and a writer and a poet and a friend. In a man's life, he will take a fall, but how he goes, it just depends. He's shooting dope in the men's room at the station Daly City Train. Have you ever seen an angel? Well, I know I have. They'll stay here for a while and then they'll fly away. So that looks to me like they were friends with this guy. He had a chemical addiction and then he was gone. Mm-hmm. Which, Jay-Z said something one time, and I'm not sure if it's one of the top 3 most legendary things I've ever heard in my life, or if it was just a little throwaway Tim Robbins phrase that he used. But anyway, Jay-Z said that he believes that everybody has a kind of talent that they do better than everybody else in the world. So, because they were talking about, how did you get, to where you are, yada, yada, yada. And if you know anything about Jay, he did a lot of his rapping in his head. Like, he came up with the rhymes in his head. So, most of the time he doesn't write. He goes to the studio, hears a beat, and then he comes up with these incredible songs off the top of his head, essentially. And so anyway, people were asking, how did you, and he said, everybody has a talent that they can do better than everybody else. It's just that there's only a few of us who get to exercise it and then maximize it to its, whatever. So when I read that he was a poet and an artist and a writer, and then the implication of the song is that he died, because it says, have you ever seen an angel? I know I have. They'll stay here for a while and then they'll fly away. Mm-hmm. So it looks to me like this guy had a real talent. He could write. He was an artist. He was a poet. I mean, Rancid, they're a legendary punk band, I think, but they're not like, it's not like Shakespearean lyricism and all the rest of it. So it's like they were able to say, hey, we took what we had. I'm sure Rancid wouldn't say that they're like Yngwie Malmsteen or Jimi Hendrix. They'll say, we took what we had and we made something successful of it. And so when you do that, you tend to think that the people around you tend to see the potential that other people had. And so it's like, damn, like if we could have made it, this guy could have made it in a different universe somewhere. And it's just unfortunate that he didn't make it. So the Jay-Z, the Jay-Z phrase really stuck with me, because I'm like, what would the world look like if everybody was able to go on 10 on that specific talent that they had?
Right.
And 99% of the time when you have a talent, this is another thing Mr. Lipinski said to me when I was in the 5th grade. Shout out to Mr. Lipinski. Somebody said, I don't like reading. And Lipinski said, yeah, that's because you're not good at it. Because people don't like things they're not good at. Okay, so if I put Jay-Z and Mr. Lipinski together, then what that means is that there's 8 billion of us on this planet. All of us have a specific talent and specialty or niche that we will do better than all the other 8 billion people. And presumably, we will love doing that thing. And this is something I talked to at a Bible Boogie one time with Peter, where I said, because I'm looking forward to a golden age on the earth, like 1,000-year golden age. But I said I thought in the golden age, everybody will be able to monetize what they love doing. And so what kind of society would we be if everybody's talents and everybody's passions were monetized? Not so that people could get rich necessarily, but so that people could live at the height of their passion for pretty much their lifespan. And you would never again have to worry about work output or anything like that, because if people, like, I can't help but play my guitar. Like, I can't help but do it. So it's a crazy, but we currently don't live in a society like that. And so people like this, the genius that they have, we never really get to see it, because a lot of these guys don't make it. They don't make it long enough to be able to for the world to see their stuff.
It seems to me like the whole system itself would have to change. So obviously I'm not speaking about every household, but there are lots of households where either the kids are completely discouraged all the time and the parents don't encourage them in anything, or their parents encourage them in everything. Oh, you can do it. Sky's the limit. Whatever you want, you just reach for it. It's yours, And that's not true. There are things that you're not good at. And, you see it when you watch, what was that? Was it American Idol? Or the one where, the garbage where that thing came from?
Yeah.
And you see people come on this thing to audition, and it is clear and obvious why they allowed them to audition in the first place. I mean, it makes good TV, because you're like, how is this person lacking that much self-awareness? And then a lot of times the person doesn't get accepted, obviously, for obvious reasons. And when they leave, the family comes in and chews out Simon or whoever else it is, saying that their kid is clearly good at that. And it's like, well, I mean, unless the parent is tone deaf.
Yeah, but the thing is, I agree to a degree, but I'm going to push back in this way. If Billy Corgan, the guy from Smashing Pumpkins, who sings like this, if he would have went to American Idol, they'd have laughed him off the stage, because his voice is horrible. But because it's Smashing Pumpkins and Billy Corgan, it works. I mean, because he's got a... You know who I'm talking about?
No, I can't hear him in my head right now.
Billy Corgan?
Is he...
Billy Corgan, the dude from Smashing Pumpkins.
Yeah, I heard all that. I can't.
Tonight, believe in me as I believe in you.
But to me, that's
His voice
not...
is...
He has a weird voice, but to me, it's not off, like...
It wouldn't translate on American Idol.
It wouldn't translate well, right, but...
He wouldn't make it past round one of American
But there
Idol.
are people that go, and you think the person must be tone deaf because it's really terrible. It's
well,
not, you can't even do anything with that.
If Billy Corgan was trying to sing "I Will Always Love You" from Whitney Houston, he would look like a fool, and that's the problem. So, Billy Corgan, in my opinion, is one of the most talented people in the world, especially when it comes to making love songs that are not dumb, in my opinion. But if he tried to fit into the regular pop box, because American Idol is a very specific niche, he would get laughed off the stage. So just because you don't fit into the American Idol niche doesn't mean you don't have talent. That's what I'm saying is different, is that people do have talent. People have been laughed off the stage of American Idol. They're talented, but they're not in that box. It's the same thing with Rancid. It's not like these guys are hitting notes and all. This is a punk band. You know, they sound like trash. If you look at black metal, again, all the lo-fi shit, it sounds like trash. It'll never get to America. But millions. So that's my point. That demonstrates my point, is that there isn't only one way to be a talented singer. But American Idol is about pop music. It's about
the
Whitney
ones that
Houston
I saw,
and Britney Spears. It's not
they did different types. They even did some like metalish stuff at the couple of them I saw.
At the end of the show, what gets produced?
Oh, I don't know. I've never actually watched a whole show.
Okay, it's all Britney Spears.
clips.
It's Britney Spears, Christina. It's pop music. Well, only a very select group of people can be a pop star, because you have to not only sound a certain way but look a certain way. So, to me, that just goes to my point, is that, you know, music is so far ranging and expansive, but a successful musician and you know, I would say that's American Idol is an example of corporate artistry, where you just put people on a conveyor belt and you're putting out the same product every time.
That's one example, but you see it in other areas too. You see it in sports. You see it in different areas where people are clearly not good at something, and their parents are not going to tell them this is not your strong point. And it's okay for people to understand that you're not going to be strong in everything. There are very few people that can be very good at lots of different things.
Right.
So you have to be able to take the time with your kids and encourage your kids to be able to understand that you're not going to be good at everything. And just because the majority of your class is maybe good at playing that soccer game at recess and you're horrible at it, that doesn't mean anything. I mean, if you look at, well, I'm not sure so there's a certain artist, I don't know if it's public, but he's extremely good at what he does, but he worked at a call center before he was doing what he was doing. And if you would have seen him at the call center, you know, people probably would have been like, that guy's never going to accomplish anything. But he's a very, very gifted lyricist in what he writes. So I think that, you know, one is changing atmosphere.
I just figured out who you're talking about. It's a band I'm obsessed with right now.
Yeah. Changing that atmosphere. But then also recognizing you don't have to be the best out of, what did you say? How many people are on the planet?
Well, imagine him on American Idol. Forget it.
What is it? Did you say 8 billion people on the planet?
Yeah.
If you don't have to be the best of one of 8 billion. You just have to be the best or one of the best in the circle that you roll in. So, you know, it doesn't matter if you're, we live in Lewiston, Maine right now. So if you're the best at something in Lewiston, you might be on the low end of the totem pole if you go to California. So it really just depends on where you are and what circles you're with. But I think that, you know, there's a spot for a lot of different things and a lot of different, and so I agree with that. And I think that if people were able to pursue the thing that brings them the most joy, that they're good at. Because sometimes people get a lot of enjoyment out of something you really suck at.
Like what?
Well, I've seen people, like, you know, create music that was just, I don't know if you remember that Ocean song that person made.
Is it a song we reviewed?
No, we didn't review it. Well, I reviewed it.
Was it that kid that wrote that to you?
I mean, he was a teenager. We don't have to get into all the details. It just wasn't good, but he took a lot of joy in making his music, but it just wasn't, he just didn't have the talent.
Yeah, but what I'm talking about is the passion. He had passion for you. He didn't have passion for music.
Yeah, I wouldn't have gone into all that detail, but okay.
I mean,
yeah, I guess
detail. It should happen almost a decade
I
ago.
know, but it's just weird to say.
Why are you being so weird about it?
Because it feels weird to say all that. But yeah, I guess
she was a youth group leader, and the kids fell in love with her. We've talked about this a million times.
I know, but I didn't want to say that connected to the song.
Okay.
It's not like I ever told him that was not good.
I'm sure he knows now that it wasn't good. I don't even think this kid watches our show.
Yeah, well, you never know.
Shout out to the homie. Yeah, but in that situation, again, the kid wasn't passionate about music. He was passionate about you. I'm talking about what people are passionate about. Okay, because, like, for example, if that kid would have joined a band, you would have blew it up, and he would have listened to you. You see what I'm saying? Because you were more important to him than the music. What I'm talking about is whatever a person, like, has that deep, passionate drive for that they cannot stop doing. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about
what they want to.
You saw Tom Brady on TV, and so you want to, replicate that. So now, you want to be a quarterback. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about the shit that is inside of you that you cannot stop doing. Like Zoe cannot stop writing. She's always writing something, always thinking about the next thing to write. That's what I mean. And, like, unfortunately, we don't live in a society that currently monetizes passion for all of us. It's only a slim margin of people that get to do that currently. So I was looking at Steph Curry, and I was looking at how he was like 8 or 9 years old, and because his dad played basketball, he was able to, like, shoot around on the court and stuff before the game started. And sure enough, there's 9-year-old Steph Curry taking up the ball, stops at the 3-point line, perfect form, everything at 9 years old from the NBA type shots. And you just tell he loves doing that shit. He's, LeBron is working out right now. All of that shit is getting monetized. And, I feel really, really fortunate because music has always been a saving grace for me. And now we get to do this. It's a pretty good gig. But
what about for people that, and I don't know, maybe this has to do with mental illness, people that don't have literally anything that they're passionate about. The only thing that they're passionate about is some sort of form of negativity.
Well, I mean, being a person with that kind of mental illness, in the depths of my mental illness, in the worst points of my life, I still had music in my head.
So you don't know.
So I don't believe that's a symptom of something. That's like saying, oh, you weren't meant to play basketball because you went through a season where, you had, ankle surgery or whatever. There are things that temporarily make it so that people are not passionate about things, but that's after the world has beat the hell out of them. I don't believe there's anybody that walks around with no passion for anything. I think if you were able to talk to these people, you would be able to find something that they're passionate about. It's just that they've given up hope that they'd ever be able to do it in any significant way. That's my theory.
See, and I disagree with it. Look, I'll talk about myself specifically. There is nothing that I am passionate about at this phase in my life except seeing my kids and you, like waking up to see my family. That's it.
Yeah, I disagree.
Oh, really?
There's lots of things that you're passionate about, actually. What do you give the song?
Let's talk about that offline, I guess.
Well, we'd never have a significant altercation if you weren't passionate about anything, right?
But wouldn't that be something negative?
Look at your eyes. I didn't say it was positive or negative.
No,
I've met people who are passionate about putting rounds in people, and they were very good at it. So I'm not saying it's always positive.
Yeah, but that's what I said. I said, what if there's somebody that the only thing that they're passionate about is stuff that's not positive?
No, you said that they'd have no passion is what you said.
Well, rewind the tape. See it yourself. All right. What do I give this song?
What will happen? What will happen if I rewind the tape and you said what I said you said? What would happen?
Perhaps you'd answer the question.
But what would happen if we rewound the tape and you said what I said you said? Then what would happen?
I know that was part of what I said, but I'm sure I said the other part that I said.
I'm just saying, what would happen?
Okay, I give the song a
Nothing.
8.2.
We just go along like nothing happened. I don't know, man. This was a tough song. But I feel like a lot of these songs are going to be like this, knowing these two. He never thought twice about being here. That line was pretty crazy to me. And it makes me think to myself, this guy is so undervalued by his society that he reached some point where he's like, I'll just do this dope and drink and whatever, and eventually I'll disappear and nobody will, that I won't be here anymore. And he never thought twice about it. It was never, and I think sometimes people do these things called long-range suicides where they're too afraid to do the exact thing in the exact moment, but they do things that set them on a path that they know is inevitably going to lead to some sort of destruction.
Yeah.
So that's that. If you're one of those people, I think you should think twice, because whether you know it or not, you do have something to contribute. So there's that. Okay, I'm going to give this one a solid 9. A solid 9. Decent song. We got more songs on the way. Everybody, stay tuned. More to come.
More is on the way. Wow, this looks...
What's the name of the song? White Rabbit is the next song?
Yeah. Jefferson Airplane is the name of the band. It just looks
Jefferson
very,
Airplane, White Rabbit is next, dear listener. Having said that, the day
album
has
cover.
just begun. Then out.
Sorry out.
Go. All right, guys, we're coming right back. You know the deal. Commercial break. Let's go. I'm Vin.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, $125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. $125 gets you there. You do that 3 times and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes.
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at itsori@gmail.com and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
They do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/VinandSori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed. A child shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener.
Okay. Jefferson Airplane, White Rabbit is up next. Let's see what we have to say about it. Middle Earth's comments from YouTube comments. So I guess he went underneath the song itself and pulled out comments that he thought was great. So, MIDI Retro a year ago said, "What really does amaze me, apart from the spectacular show and immortal version she gave, is that how do you sing live on LSD? She literally managed it like a complete professional." Oh, wow. Okay, Faulty Tenor a year ago said, that's Sean Johnson Music, in parentheses, said, "Love how the solo just keeps going. Craig could jam over the vamp for days. Some really interesting playing in there, and the wild pitch bends are awesome. Great solo." Carlos Martinez a year ago said, Craig, how do you say his last name? Chiquito?
How am I supposed to know?
Chiquico
Craig C. Why do
was
you have to pronounce his name? He's just a commenter on YouTube.
no. That's not the commenter. He's talking about the person that does this music. Was always underrated. Great version, by the way. Mark D. Arrigo a year ago said, I was at this show, something I'll never forget. Country Joe McDonald opened for them. Ron Dunkers a year ago said, as of what I know, they were still called Jefferson Airplane in 1975. During a comeback in the early 80s, they switched to Starship. Somerville 99 a year ago said, nope, by 1974 they were using Jefferson Starship as some of the originals had left to form Hot Tuna. J.A. was defunct and resurrected after J.S. broke up. Mickey Thomas became Starship and J.A. started back
So
up.
Somerville 99 is a person's real name?
Honey, the guy's real name is Mark D. Agrillo.
Who is that?
This one. Carlos. Carlos Martinez is the one that made the comment, but he's talking about Craig Chiquico being underrated. Or Chiquico? I don't know how to say it. Okay. Nope, by 1974 they were using Jefferson Starship as some of the originals had left to form Hot Tuna. J.A. was defunct and resurrected after J.S. broke up. Mickey Thomas became Starship and J.A. started back up. That said, members were always leaving and coming back, etc. Ideal Dan said Somerville 99 hits it. But there were big fights on naming rights when some members went one way, others another. JS had to give up Jefferson and became simply Starship. Okay, so that's why in the title it says Jefferson Airplane / Starship.
Okay.
That's so interesting. I usually whenever there's a slash like that, that's because there's two songs involved in the thing. But this one is because the band got named multiple things. All right, well, let's check out this song, White Rabbit.
All right, by Jefferson Airplane / something / tuna / yeah. Okay, here we go. White Rabbit, let's do it. Or Starship. Sounds like the Old West. One like Steve.
guy is good. I agree. He is underrated.
One pill makes you larger and one pill makes you small. And the ones that your mother gives you don't do anything at all. Go ask Alice. She's helping all. Hey, maybe you go chasing rabbits and you know you're gonna fall. Tell 'em a hookah smoking caterpillar has given you the call. Call Alice. She was just small. Hey, when you bet on the chessboard, get up and tell you where to go. And you just had some kind of mushroom, and your mind is moving low. Go ask Alice, I think she'll know. When logic and proportion have fallen, sloppy dead, and the white knight is talking backwards, and the red queen's up with her head. Remember what the dormouse said. Feed your head. Feed your head.
And that was Jefferson Airplane / Tuna / Starship.
White Rabbit is the name of the song.
First thing that pops out to me is one of these days I'll get there, but I have no discipline when it comes to solos like that. Did you see how he was just camping out in that one shape for, I don't know, maybe 24 bars? He was just camping out in that one and just using variations of that one shape and arpeggiating that one chord. But it sounded so different all the time because there were different tempo signatures and all the rest of it. I do not have that kind of discipline. Like I don't like staying in the same scale pattern or whatever, and that's why my shit sounds so horrible, because it's the lack of discipline. I'm not talking about like regular song structures. Like riffage I feel pretty confident in as far as like making heavy shit, but and maybe even a little complexity to it, which you guys will see shortly. But soloing is something that I struggle with because I don't have the discipline to kind of stay in shapes like that. That was so good and so instructive. I'm gonna study that solo because I'm gonna copy that and get that down, because hopefully, inshallah, it'll give me a framework to have that kind of discipline. That was one of the biggest things that struck me was how he was just camping out there. But it sounded so different and unique throughout all the different iterations of what he was doing. That was pretty crazy. That was pretty interesting.
When we got into the lyrics, I literally read the first bit wrong. So then it like painted the whole rest of the song for me, and I was like, holy shit. So it says one pill makes you larger, one pill makes you small, and the one that mothers gives you, don't question anything at all, is what I thought it said. The word question was not in there at all. She was just saying the pills that our mother gives her don't do anything at all. So she's hearing about Alice and how this thing makes you big, this thing makes you small, but when her mother gives her something, it doesn't do anything. Go ask Alice when she's 10 feet tall. And if you go chasing rabbits, you don't know you're going to fall. Tell him a hookah smoking caterpillar has given you the call. He called Alice when she was just small. It's pretty weird.
Rely on you. They're using Alice in Wonderland as a metaphor for drugs, right?
Well, that's what we were always told. Because in the story...
Didn't she chase a rabbit? Isn't that how she fell
into all this stuff. Yeah, she chased the rabbit. She goes down the hall. There's a caterpillar sitting on a mushroom. I mean, in the kids' cartoon, there's a caterpillar sitting on a
mushroom?
He's sitting on a mushroom smoking it.
Shout out to my
the whole thing is
hey, shout out to the whole
we were not allowed to
on his DMT. I can't believe they let you so the caterpillar was doing
we were not allowed to watch that.
The caterpillar was doing shrooms in a children's show.
I'm gonna show you.
Holy shit.
And he was all chill.
Who
are you? See, look, babe, look at the thing.
La ilaha illallah.
And see, he's on a mushroom. Right there, that's the original one.
All right. So obviously, whoever wrote Alice in Wonderland wrote it after some sort of DMT trip or LSD trip or whatever. And I am sure if I was to read that book, I would find a whole bunch of subliminal drug references. Holy shit!
No doubt. I that was like probably the. We were not
I've never read that book. I've never seen that movie.
I love it. And it's weird because I don't love it because of the drug references. I love it because...
Well, how do you know? You didn't know any of the drug references.
Well, to me, it was just like the sides of crazy that a person could be. Like, I didn't understand when I first saw it. I knew that they talked about, like, everybody was like, oh, there's a lot of drug references in that, blah, 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 blah. But that didn't mean anything to me. I'd never tried drugs. I'd never been around people that were on drugs, blah, blah, blah. So it didn't mean anything to me. I just saw it as, like, the different, the different sides of crazy that you could experience just in life.
The first reference, actually, to Alice in Wonderland I'd ever heard in my life. Well, I probably have heard other references because I think Alice in Wonderland is probably a cultural phenomenon. But the first time I actually saw an Alice that I remember was The Matrix when it said "Follow the White Rabbit." Mm-hmm. Of course, when I first saw it, I was like, "Oh, that's interesting," because the girl had a white rabbit tattoo. It wasn't until years later people were like, "Yo, that's a reference to Alice in Wonderland." Because I guess. So what happened? Was a white rabbit her guide through Wonderland?
Yeah, basically. She keeps following him and he keeps saying, I'm late for a very important date. And she keeps trying to talk to the rabbit. So yeah, she does follow him throughout there.
One pill makes you larger, one pill makes you small, and the ones that mother give you don't do anything at all. I'm assuming she's talking about uppers and downers. Or the effects of illicit drugs versus legal drugs. So I'm taking the first two to be illicit drugs, and then the third one to be, over the counter or even doctor prescribed, but it doesn't do anything in the sense that it doesn't have the effect that LSD or the other things that these people are taking. And what year is this?
I mean, look at the
60s, 70s, 67.
Look at the album cover.
So that's everybody's experimenting with all this stuff, especially experimenting with psychedelics. And then your mom gives you a Tylenol or something like that. You're gonna say, yeah, that doesn't do anything, because what you want it to do is give you that
Alice experience.
Yeah. Which. I have to read that book now because everybody's saying like it's a cultural classic.
Like I said, I never read the book. I just saw all the different movies and read like the kids' versions of it and stuff. But I liked it. Plus, that was my favorite escape room. Well, one of my favorites.
I actually read this book called Go Ask Alice, and it was a horrible book actually, because. Now I realize why they titled it that way. But
what was it called?
I think it was called Go Ask Alice. But it was basically, I remember I sat and read it in one sitting. It was basically this girl who was struggling with, I think it was heroin, and it was her diary. Oh. So you see her start off from It would be actually a pretty good Netflix series, but she starts off trying XYZ, and then it progresses, and she goes in and out of rehab and all this, and she moves and everything, and her parents and all that, her diary entries. And then the last entry, it's like, you know, Alice's parents found her dead, blah, 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 blah.
Oh my gosh.
So, like, you're reading through this book, you're reading this girl's diary entries, and you really, really get attached to her. And they were really her diary entries because, you know, her parents wanted it published. But yeah, that was pretty rough.
Wow.
That was a pretty rough read.
Book that you guys read?
I actually think it was my little brother's book, and he just had it lying around. I think he had to do it for school, but anyway.
Wow.
I picked it up. I read the whole thing in one sitting. It wasn't very long, but...
How old was she when she died?
15, 16.
Oh my God.
That's like the worst thing as a parent, man. I that's something I pray about a lot. Like those kinds of issues, like I would never want my kids to. It's such a terrifying, horrible thing for a parent to have to go through. But at this point in time, I think people weren't really thinking about the consequences of like these drugs because it was, hey, it's the 60s. You know, a lot of these people were kids in the 50s, obviously. And, you know, during Revo stream, you guys should go check it out. You know, the time period was different. Everybody was kind of cookie cutter. And then the 60s happened and everybody lost their minds. And everybody's experimenting now. And all they thought about the drugs at the time was, hey, we're experimenting. This is great. They're not thinking about the long-term consequences because it had just been introduced. Go ahead.
Well, I think that the 50s and, you know, even before that, there was a lot of pressure put on people by authorities. And if you, like I was talking to this one lady who said that she was a child. She was like 9 years old and her parents had gotten divorced. And she said after her parents got divorced, people would cross the street so they wouldn't have to walk by her. And she was a kid.
Holy shit.
Right. So there's this sort of like, I don't know, the zeitgeist of the entire place was probably pretty intense. And I think that if you're hearing this is bad, that's bad, you can't do this, you can't do that, and everything has some big whatever attached to it, and then, you know, maybe you meet somebody that's, you know, has something to drink or well, actually I think that people probably drank a lot, so they probably were kind of more acclimated to that, but maybe somebody's smoking some weed and then you see that their life is not over because of that. So maybe because everything was made such a big deal of and there was so much like authority, because if you notice in the song she says later down, when the men on the chessboard get up and tell you where to go and you've just had some kind of mushroom and your mind is moving slow, go ask Alice, I think she'll know. So like there's this, she just had some stuff, people are telling her what to do, you know, and I'm wondering if that had any effect on, if you like, for me personally, I saw the effects of heroin and what it did to people and the effects of what a lot of different types of drugs did to somebody to absolutely destroy their life. But if I didn't have that reference and, you know, you're a teenager and like, let's say you try some weed and you're like, okay, this is not what my parents made it out to be. That must mean everything is just going to be basically fun.
Right.
And so then you try something else because all your friends are doing it and it looks fun. It's a little bit more a little bit more, you know, down the rabbit hole, so to speak. And you just end up getting addicted to different things. I just, you know, that's what I think. I just think that it has something to do with some of that. But
I googled this girl. This woman is a legend. Holy shit. Okay, so here, hey guys, check this out right here. That's a pretty crazy. Look at this. Look at the title of this thing. This article. It's unbelievable. Holy smokes. This woman, I can't believe more people aren't talking about this lady because she's a badass. I probably shouldn't post this because it's going to look like I'm promoting. I'm not promoting any of this. Okay. The epic true story of Grace Slick at Jefferson Airplane. Say hello to Grace Slick. Lover to Morrison. This is a dude from The Doors.
Oh.
Friend of Joplin. That's Janis Joplin. Arrested more times than Lemmy.
Oh my
Took
gosh.
more drugs than Winehouse. Mouth like a trucker.
Oh my gosh. How old was she? Did she make it? Did she die? What happened to her?
I don't know if she died or not. I doubt very highly. That she's still alive, just based on.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying like at the end, did she?
I don't know. I don't know. Hey,
her name was Grace Slick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious to know. I mean, she took all those drugs like that. You'd be wondering if she died in 1990.
1990. I mean, 1964 to 1990. No. That's the years active. That was her years active. She was active from 64 to 1990. She's still alive.
Wait, what?
She's still alive. She hasn't died. Hey, good for her.
Wow.
Okay. Some people still got it. Okay. I really like this song. I really like this song. I like her voice. There's definitely like a weird, I'm going to say Quentin Tarantino, but Quentin Tarantino was probably obviously using a lot of these bands because it's probably what he grew up with. But it felt like a Quentin Tarantino movie and a Western at the same time. Mm-hmm. She's currently 82 years old, subhanAllah.
Wow.
Okay.
Oh my God, I would love to sit down and talk with her. But she's got so many stories. Probably a lot of advice. Maybe it's good now because maybe she's been through enough where it's like, it's got seasoned. Wow. Okay, so I really enjoyed this as well. I like anything that has to do with the kind of Alice in Wonderland theme usually. So I'm gonna say.
Where is the stream symbol, Middle? Is it in Trello or is it in?
Oh, it's this one right here.
Is that in Trello?
Yeah, that's in Trello.
Okay.
Sorry, I just thought that you were showing us that. That's so bad.
This is on.
Oh my word, you guys! So we have to, after we do the full stream, go on Trello, click the Trello thing, and go to Revo's board. So when we do streams, the full stream is whatever, a couple hours long, and then I have to take the whole stream, download it, and then break it up in between, and then release it as individual videos. Well, my baby brain has got me so bad. I literally spent. This has happened to me a couple times so far since I've been pregnant. I break up a stream, get it all released, and then I re-download the same stream, break it up again, and do all the work. And then I realize it's already been done. So I'm not surprised I looked at that and said, oh, Revo's trying to show us a picture. Instead of realizing that was your symbol for the stream. All right, you guys. So I gave it a 9.8. What are you giving it?
I would give it a 9. I'll give it a 9.5. I really enjoyed the song. I'm definitely gonna check out that solo, because I think it's actually gonna really.
Wait, what did you give it?
It's gonna unlock a 9.5. It's gonna unlock. I really believe it's gonna. Hey, there we go.
Oh, you got it. Okay.
Oh my God! Holy shit!
I know. They're all.
I'd actually
enjoying themselves.
I'd like to know the story behind that picture, man. SubhanAllah.
It looks like everybody took something. That older gentleman on the bottom is probably the one who gave it to him.
See, the older guy, I don't really mind. Give wine to those who are perishing. Okay. 9.5 for me.
9.8 for me.
There you are, dear listener. We got more coming for you. This is the Needle and Spoon stream brought to you by the big homie Middle Earth and the big homie Revo.
Oh, Needle and Spoon.
Needle and Spoon is the name of the
drugs. You know when they heat the thing up and they pull it in the thing?
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, there you go, kids.
Oh, we know. I figured it out. Sorry, out.
Gone. Apparently, it's a U.S. opium den. Holy shit. All right, guys. Commercial break. We shall return. I'm Ben.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at sori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed. A child shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. The name of this band is Saint Vitus. And the name
Dying
of the song...
Inside. Ooh, okay. Again, Middle Earth chooses comments from YouTube. He's got Hate Breeds VLS a year ago said, when the guitarist wears a chakra t-shirt and plays The Darkest Room, you know you're in the right place. Yee Hee 9 years ago said, well, 9 years ago, this song rocks hardcore, but it's more than that for me. I relate to this song through my alcoholism. Henry Griffin says, Henry Vasquez is a fucking beast of a drummer. Very nice guy too. I met him at the record store in Fort Worth, bought a few t-shirts from him, and we discussed a lot of things about music. And Minatoro di Shayatai says, I freaking love that drummer. Awesome, redefined, everything Winnow touches turns to gold. That was an acrylic alphabet name that I cannot read because I do not speak that language. Right here. Can you read that?
All right. Here we go. Saint Vitus, and the name of the song is Dying Inside.
Yeah, Dying Inside.
Okay,
yeah.
There you go. We uplift people here at Vid and Sori. So here we go. Dying Inside by the band Saint Vitus, I believe, is the name of the band. I am extremely interested to check these people out. All right, here we go. Saint Vitus, Dying Inside. Let's do it.
This is one for everybody who went to the bar tonight.
Oh boy.
Deutschland, Hamburg, and places beyond them. cheer you.
Whoa. These guys were big. They had a crew. I really like that song. That guitarist, look, I do know this about Jimi Hendrix. Jimi Hendrix would do all types of tricks and shit, play the guitar backwards or whatever.
But I've never seen anyone play with their teeth.
But I'm a real sucker for that stuff. I was with a guitar guy for about three minutes. My instructor. Shout out to Sean. We actually played one of his songs in a what do you call it before? Unbelievable song. Why
did you yell ew?
Oh, because the drummer spit into the air and caught it. It's pretty disgusting.
Oh, that is gross. Okay.
So yeah, the guitarist was a badass. No, it wasn't the most complicated thing in the world, but live rock music is about showmanship, dear listener. Give the people something that they can remember. Everybody sat on a stool with their guitar teacher doing all their scale work and shit. I need to see something impressive. Wow. And he did. He brought it. He brought it with his teeth. Ugh. His teeth came in there and solved the problem, which is actually probably more disgusting than catching your own spit, honestly. Putting your mouth on a guitar is probably, that thing is probably full of so much bacteria and dead skin that, or in my case, blood, that itself was pretty freaking nasty. Hendrix did play with his teeth. I understand Hendrix played with his teeth, and I'm sure Hendrix is probably a better guitarist than this
Middle
guy.
Earth. That was the point, Vin.
But I'm just not seeing the Hendrix stuff, man. I don't get it. He sounds like a great guitarist to me, but anyway. This was great metal showmanship, and the type of metal, was kind of, the fundamental riff that they just drive you into the ground type of shit. It was kind of a little bit of a doomy sound too.
Yeah, it did. I agree. For me, like what it sounded like, I was more distracted lyrically by what this guy was saying. But definitely the sound door, it had like a doom sort of sound to it. It was also heavy at different points, and I don't know. I kind of felt like sucked into like the heavy feel of it.
Yeah.
Which definitely. I think matched it lyrically. Because like at the beginning of the song he's saying, I have to change my ways. By the end of it, he's saying, I can't control my addiction. So like.
Right. Well, at the end, he said, alcohol knows it's going to win.
Yeah. That's just like, oh my gosh. And he said, like, it's ruining everything for him. He's losing his friends and lovers. It's just, he's dying inside. He wakes up, he feels so sick that he's like, I'm never going to do this again. But then he does. I have no self-control, he said. I've let myself become dead. I have ruined my soul. Every time I wake up sick, I say never again, and then opportunity knocks and I'm wasted, my friend. Oh my God. This, hearing this song, I don't know. I felt like it was very depressing.
Yeah. It's the lyrics are pretty straightforward. What I'm doing right now is I'm trying to look at these guys and see if they're still around or if alcohol finally took them out. But it's a pretty that's true. It's a pretty gloomy song.
Yeah, that's a good thing to look at. Like, did alcohol actually win, or just at this point in his life? That'd be a good question.
Armando Acosta died in 2010. Scott Weinreich is still alive, so it looks like.
I wonder who wrote this.
Armando Acosta is the one that died, but it looks like everybody else is alive. Bless God, so that's good. But yeah, the lyrics are very, 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 very straightforward.
They are.
Armando Acosta died at 58, which is pretty young, relatively speaking.
I mean, you said he died at what year?
He died on Thanksgiving.
Wow. What year? What year?
2010.
2010?
Yeah.
So this was written in 86?
Yeah.
So it's like 20-something years later, he still made it beyond that?
Yeah, but I don't know how he died,
lyrics,
though. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. He had major health problems, restricted his playing, yada, 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 yada. So anyway, for the most part, it seems that the band did not actually succumb totally to alcohol addiction. But, you know, alcoholism is one of those... You know, we've got some pretty potent alcohol here, but you know, I can't countenance more than one gulp of it. Like I took a gulp of one yesterday, and I'm like, I cannot imagine
drinking this whole thing.
I mean, I've been working on that Irish little thing in the brown bottle for about a month and a half. Mm-hmm. It's only like, 16 ounces, but like, I just can't. It's just. It's gross to me, and it's like there's a difference between like I want a glass of wine, before bed or something like that. Alcoholics to me, and this might be a stereotype, but it's hard liquor all the time type situation, and that just puts your body through so much. Your body has to do so much to break that down and process that. It just puts your body into overdrive, but then you have this psychochemical addiction that begins to happen. I think obviously I believe heroin and obviously other drugs, crystal meth, obviously those are worse as far as potency goes and as far as how quickly it'll destroy you. But in my opinion, I think alcohol is probably the biggest. And the reason is because it's so ubiquitous. You don't have to hide it. There's one on every corner.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
There's still commercials for it. You're not going to see commercials for heroin. What's fascinating is I haven't seen a lot of weed commercials yet, and I'm assuming the reason for that is because you don't need to spend a lot of money on marketing for those kinds of products. I'm assuming when the market gets really crowded, we're going to start seeing some weed commercials on YouTube. But alcohol is still kind of the only drug in America that still gets promoted, still gets celebrated. And I understand, like, prohibition is a non-starter. It's just you're never going to be able to solve the problem that way. But alcohol addiction, holy shit, I wouldn't. There's a lot of things I wouldn't wish on my worst enemies, but that is one of them. I actually don't wish anything bad to my enemies, actually. You guys go off and be great.
Go be great now.
Stop being obsessed with me, though.
I wanted you to see these ads. They were crazy. Look at this.
Don't be ashamed you are using. Be empowered that you're using safely. What the fuck is that?
No overdose. Do it with friends. Use with people and take turns. Try not to use alone or have someone check on you. These are like advertisements that Brian saw. Opiates. Yeah, that Brian saw while he was... Look, change it up. Interject.
Who is Brian?
Brian, one of our... He's the one that sent us the picture of his guitar. He's leaving because the hell's in a handbasket over here.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to
Brian. Look at this. Guys, change it up. Injecting drugs carries the highest risk of overdose, so try smoking or snorting instead. Isn't this crazy?
These are... Send that to me. Where is that? In your email?
Yeah.
These are billboards. This will probably become more relevant later on in the songs, I'm assuming. So,
but I was very surprised that they had these advertisements, and I was kind of... Are you opening the email, or do you want me to send you the email?
No, I got it. I got it.
Okay. I was like surprised to see some of those, but at the same time, I was like, well, if somebody's going to inject anyway, and so then they read that sign and they're like, well, actually it would be safer to do something else. I don't know, it still seems crazy to me, but but I don't know.
I mean, I like I said, well, there'll probably be a song that directly addresses heroin, so I'll save it for that. But that's interesting.
Yeah.
Your liver is good for about 4 drinks. Well, I don't know about 4 drinks, Middle Earth, versus what is the alcohol content in those 4 drinks,
what's the
right?
percentage
Like,
there? Yeah.
4 drinks of wine, I still don't think is close to 2 drinks of 150 proof, right? Or Hennessy, whatever you call it.
It can't be, because in a glass of wine is usually like 5%.
Right.
So you have to have a lot of glasses of wine to equal that other 150 proof that what's-his-face is talking about.
Now I've lost everything, and I really don't care. Everyone that I've known has cast me here. Has outcast me here. Go ahead.
Well, it's just a crazy kind of mindset, because where'd you see that?
Right here.
There.
Now
Everyone
I've lost everything. I
yeah.
really don't care. Everybody that I've known has outcast me here.
So it's like, well, he's lost everything. He's saying that he doesn't care, but does he really not care? Or is that his, like, is that the way that he's dealing with the fact that he's been ostracized? But then he says, everyone that I have known has cast me out here. That's not a healthy way of looking at that. They didn't cast you out there. You made life decisions that they found impossible to live around.
Right.
So, you know, sometimes the language that we use really, like, dictates to us how we see a situation, and actually can be a contributor to us not getting well.
Yeah. That's a really, really big thing. And, you know, like when we were doing that ministry downtown, I remember there was this one particular guy, and he was by himself, and clear alcohol, substance abuse issues, and his, you know, and he was on the street, and he was laying down, and we thought that was the end of him, but it wasn't. He was just laying, because there was a bread shop by where we used to be, and the exhaust or whatever, it was warm. The whatever
It
out
was
of the
Country
vent.
Kitchen, actually. I'm sure some people are familiar with Country Kitchen.
Out of the
There
vent.
was the vents, but it was moist air. That's why I felt bad for him even more.
And I remember, like, we went to check up on him, and the cops were there, and the cops basically said, okay, if you guys are taking care of him, I'll just leave him alone, because he wasn't supposed to be there. But, you know, they saw us with him, so the cop came out to me. He's like, what's the deal with this guy? Is he okay? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, listen, technically he's not supposed to be there, but can you vouch whatever? I was like, yeah, he's good. As we were walking away, somebody said, this is really fucked up that his family's got him out here like that. And I said, whoa. Our job is to love this guy. We don't know the backstory. Our job is just to love this guy because he's right in front of us. But we don't know we don't know what he put his family through. We don't know any of that stuff. We're seeing one version of this guy. They've seen him at his worst. So try not to judge the family for, you know, this guy's situation.
Yeah.
Which it's very difficult when you're on the other side of that, because folks in those situations are usually extremely manipulative, and they're very good at gaslighting people.
Well, yeah.
And making and turning it around to where the person is bad because of something that they did. And it's really interesting. Sometimes, like, I have a debate with myself whether people on hard drugs like alcohol, for example, are really gaslighting, or is it they just truly do not remember? It's like, oh, you said this, you did that, where did this black eye come from? But a lot of these guys, I think, genuinely, truly don't remember, and so they're gonna deny till the cows come home. But I think even deep down, even if they don't remember it, the odds are probably that you actually probably did something. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's a rough song. The lyrics are very, very straightforward. I'm gonna give this a 9.3. Yeah, this is a tough. The song is so tough to listen to just because you can see the guy struggling.
Yeah.
And you can also see the people. I mean, I can. I'm sure you can too. You can also see the people around him struggling as well.
Exactly what I was seeing. Yeah, I was looking at his struggle, and then I'm looking at all the people that are around him. And when he says, "I'm losing all my friends and lovers," like, yes, he was, but it was decisions that he was making that was making him in that situation. And, you know, if you heard from the friends and the lovers, they'd be like, "We're doing everything to save this guy, but he won't save himself." You know, so it's a tough song. It was like pretty heavy for me. I would not listen to this song ever again because I don't like this level of loss of control and this much destruction. And I feel for the guy because I know that, you know, I've made decisions in my life that, you know, I've not been an alcoholic, but I've made decisions in my life that weren't the healthiest decisions and, you know, didn't bring about the healthiest end results either. And, so I guess I could say is I sometimes get addicted to certain mindsets and viewing certain situations a certain way. And it's hard to change your mind about things, and it's hard to see things from other angles or from other people's point of view sometimes. And when you're talking about chemicals on top of that, it's like, okay, so you have the bad mindsets that you need this and you can't stop this, but on top of that you also have a chemical addiction to it, so it's a lot more difficult. So I guess I feel for the guy, I feel for the people around him. So it was a difficult song. I mean, he did really well with it. I'm gonna give it a 9.1, but like I hate this song to like a 0.
9.3. Tough song, but I'm glad for the most part that they it seems that they made it, so that's good. We got more metal on the way for you. The next song on the list is it Neil Young or Aerosmith?
Lynyrd
Skynyrd.
That Smell.
Lynyrd Skynyrd is next. That Smell. We shall return. I'm Ben.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at sori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Ben and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed. A child shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener.
All right. Lynyrd Skynyrd is up next. That Smell. Gross. All right. Here's
I know, it's such a weird title for a song.
There's so many things that come to mind when I say that. AJC4691 a year ago said, "No idea that in 3 months and 7 days their lives would change forever." Wow. R.I.P. Lynyrd Skynyrd. A. Rubin 2 years ago said, "Very cool to have that color added in. I thank the poster and the maker of this color."
Wait. Go ahead, I was just setting up the video.
I thank the poster and maker of this color version. Remember, this is the last tour, and in 1977, there is so little footage. To see this period is truly rock history. Smedley Butler said, "That Smell was amazing." It's so weird. Paul J. Boussard 4 months ago said, 3 of the best guitarists ever."
Yeah, these guys, I saw behind the music with these guys. They died, like half the band died in a plane crash. in like 1978.
Unbelievable.
Holy shit. Then 1977. So this is oh, that's sad. It's called The Road Home. Jeez. So yeah, this is like literally rock history here. All right. On that very positive note, it's in the 1935 mark. Let's go to 1935. Well, we'll do 1925. How's that? All right.
This is a brand new number. It's going to be out on a new album. Be out in September. It's called That Smell. There's too much coke, too much smoke. Look what's going on inside you. Ooh, that smell. Can't you smell that smell? Ooh, that smell. The smell of death around you. Yeah.
Death surrounds me.
Until darkness is upon you, stuck a needle in your arm. You fool! So take another toke, have a blow for your nose. One more drink, fool, would drown you. Now they call you Prince Charming. Can't speak a word when you're full of blues. So you'll be alright come tomorrow. But tomorrow might not be here for you. Ooh, that smell. Can't you smell that smell? Ooh, that smell. The smell of death around you. Ah, you a fool, you. Don't stick needles in your arm. Ooh, you fool. Just one more big slow might do the trick. One hell of a price for you to get your kids. Hell yeah! Ooh, that smell. Can't you smell that smell? Ooh, that smell. The smell of death around you. Ooh, that smell. Can't you smell that smell?
Are we on the same song or a different song?
Does it say? It switches at 25:14. Goes on to What's Your Name?
Okay.
And it sounded like it. What's your name?
Yeah. Okay. Aw, damn, bro.
What an important song, though.
Damn.
What a really important song.
And then like 3 months later, not everybody died, but a bunch of them died in that plane crash.
I wonder if,
Jesus.
obviously, I've never shot up anything, but when you go to the hospital, have you ever had them put that, were you ever like dehydrated and they put that drip?
Yeah.
Okay, so, oh yes, that's true, yes.
I was pretty
dehydrated.
dehydrated.
Yeah, but you were probably so far gone at that point that you wouldn't have even realized that there's like a smell. Did you smell something? When they put it in your arm?
I was hallucinating.
Yeah. I figured that much. I figured you wouldn't. Well, when they put this,
I didn't collapse. I went 3 days once without drinking water, and
yep, he did.
I didn't collapse or anything, but I was definitely.
I wasn't there.
I was definitely hallucinating. And they yelled at me, but whatever. But go ahead. What were you saying? Yeah.
So but you're not gonna know this, but when they put that drip in your arm and it starts, like within a few moments, you smell this weird smell.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so when he says, "Can't you smell that smell?" and he says the smell of death surrounds you, I wonder if when you shoot up, if you also smell something of the drug that you just put into your stream.
Oh, I see. Because when you do something intravenously, it has some.
However, it gets. I think it's weird that it happens, but it does. So my thought was, I wonder if he's trying to, like he comes up with this song to connect that scent to death for them, so that way people might be like, whoa, wait a minute. This smell could, because he said, like, the person basically says, like, I'll be better tomorrow.
Yeah.
And he's saying, you don't know if tomorrow's even going to come for you.
Right. That's what he says.
Such an important song. I wonder how many people this song helped.
Hey, you're a fool. Go on, stick those needles in your arms. You're a fool. You're just a fool. Yeah, it looks like they wrote the song as a precautionary tale to, about drug use and the sex, drugs, and rock and roll lifestyle. It's just horrible that, and I guess they had gotten into a car accident.
Look,
earlier.
Holly
What?
Shade said, yeah, you can smell it. You can also taste it too.
Oh,
that's
when
what
something.
I figured, yeah.
Oh, yeah, intravenous. Yeah, so that's probably what it is. I mean, you're right. I didn't really smell anything.
Yeah,
I was like, in a very interesting situation. But yeah. So yeah, it does have a smell for sure, but they had just gotten into a car accident like prior, and they made it out okay. And so I guess it made him look at his mortality, and so that's where the song came out.
Oh.
Yeah, but and then 3 months after this, they died in a plane crash.
What the fuck?
So
that's so crazy. Wait, they got in a car accident, and then 3 years.
They got into a car accident. Later? The car accident was the impetus for this song because I'm assuming they had to you had to face your mortality after that. So it's one of those things where it's fascinating to me because I grew up in a certain form of Christianity where people believed you could speak things into existence. Mm-hmm. And so we came up sometimes, I mean, no disrespect to my mom, but I always thought that was superstitious. Like, I idolized my mother and all the rest of it, but I never really believed that stuff, that you could speak things into existence, whether good or bad. And my mother would always say, you have to be careful about what you say. You're going to bring that on you, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. And they would tell us you couldn't speak stuff into existence, and they would kind of like mock that thought process. But at the same time, they would tell you, don't say anything out loud because the devil can hear you. So don't say your fears out loud.
Yeah.
So the idea was still there.
Yeah. And I'm like, man, that's nonsense. That's part of our Pentecostal subculture. But now, I listen to Colin Cowherd. He's a secular sportscaster. And for the last couple of weeks, they've both been using that phrase, speaking things into existence. So now that idea has become mainstream. There is this book / video called The Secret. And The Secret is about speaking things, and it's called a, quote, law of attraction. So where you believe and you speak things onto yourself to manifest the future. And so, and obviously they're saying you need to do that positively, but the other side, the dark side of the, quote, law of attraction is that people bring negativity to themselves too by what they speak. And so there are some ironies in music. So for example, Big makes this record Ready to Die, and then his second record is Life After Death. So on the Ready to Die album cover, it's Biggie when he was a baby. On the Life After Death album cover, it's Biggie outside of a hearse. Well, Big died before the Life After Death record came out.
Yeah.
And I remember my mom saying, he just called all his death onto himself. I mean, obviously, what do you think is going to happen? Same thing with Tupac. He was always singing about his death. I wonder if heaven's got a ghetto. So my mom was like, he called that thing onto himself. And so to this moment, I still don't believe that. Although I will say, there's nothing in the Bible that could convince me that something like that is real. But this is the irony. There are certain scientists
that are making you wonder.
That make me think,
yeah.
Well, particularly Don Hoffman. Particularly Don Hoffman. Because if you look at conscious agents theory, he starts off by saying that consciousness is fundamental and not matter. And that the reason that you see the moon is because you're looking at it. You're essentially... And he explicitly said this on the Lex Friedman show. You should watch it. I'll put the link in the description because I make a lot of references to Don Hoffman. One of these days, I might do a special on Don Hoffman, actually, because I talk about him all the time. I might do that. One of these nights when I'm staying up till 6 or 7 in the morning, I'll just do a Don Hoffman, because Don Hoffman did about 2 or 3 hours with Lex Friedman. I think that's his name. So I might just do that to give people some context for my worldview. But so here's the idea. If we are conscious agents who then are manifesting the physical world by what we see and what our expectations are. You expect the moon's going to be there, so you look and boom, there's the moon. But when you look away, there's no moon. That's Hoffman's theory. And he's proven it mathematically.
That's weird.
It's so fascinating. And you could tell in the discussion that Hoffman is disturbed by these revelations. There is a specific point in the broadcast where he's really disturbed. My point is, I am not sure. We don't still yet understand the correlation between consciousness and our experience in the, quote, real world. So because we don't have that fundamental understanding down yet from a scientific perspective, I am not exactly sure that there isn't some, now listen very closely, not mystical, but scientific connection between what we say, what we sing, and the, quote, real world. I'm not sure that there isn't some scientist that's not going to be able to find some real scientific correlation between the two. Having said that, so that's me, that's Vin as a, quote, scientific philosopher. On the other side of that is God knew that he was going to take those people in a plane crash, and that's one of the last things that he wanted them to leave the world.
Right.
So, you know, the car accident, it's so fascinating because we're watching this show, and in this show, this couple is leading a very, very, very dangerous lifestyle. And their lives are in danger pretty much every other episode. Like literally in danger, guns pulled on them, the whole 9 yards. But they never quit the lifestyle. And then toward the end, they get into this massive car accident. The car flips, all types of craziness. and everybody makes it out alive miraculously. And somebody goes to these people and says, listen, this is a warning from God. You have to, the priest goes, this is a warning from God. You have to stop. And the woman responds to him and says, this is a sign from God that he's always going to protect us. So it was just like, wow, like how people interpret the situations in life, and how people interpret massive moments in their life is so fascinating. So the priest looks at it as a warning, but this woman took it as a sort of carte blanche to do what she wanted because God was going to protect her. It's just a crazy, crazy, fascinating discussion.
I would say when I worked in a rehab unit, it was rehab for injuries, a lot of broken hips, things like that. Every single time, it was literally 100% of the time, when the person was negative, their healing was slower, and when the person was positive, their healing was faster. Now you could say, well, maybe their healing was already on an either fast or slow process, and because it was slower, it made them negative. I don't really know which one comes first, but the people that stayed positive, they were out of there in less days. Their pain level seemed to be more tolerable. Everything was more controlled. They were able to accomplish more in PT. I thought that was bizarre. The second I saw them come onto the floor, which was, right after they had basically cleared their heads after surgery. They spent, I think, 1 day on another floor. And then they would come up to our floor. And as soon as they came on, within 5 to 10 minutes, I knew if they were going to be there long or short.
Yeah,
pretty wild.
So that's an example of the correlation between positive thinking, positive speaking, and outcome. And to that degree, I agree. I think everybody would, no matter how skeptical you are. But what I'm talking about is, can you smell that smell? The smell of death surrounds you. The angel of death is there, sticking a needle. Like the angel of death is upon you. Like that is like that's something different than I'm gonna beat this cancer or whatever, and then you die in a plane crash, or you write a song called Ready to Die and then you die, you get killed or whatever. And the terrible thing is the song is so good. It's such a good song. It's my favorite song of the week so far. And they didn't get the opportunity to see.
That's the album cover.
The album. I mean, they're in flames and shit in the album. Subhanallah.
I know.
But they didn't get to see I mean, who knows? Maybe they didn't get to see. I don't know. I see a pattern with all you believers. When something great happens, it's God's blessing. If something bad's happened, it's one of God's mysteries. Well, I didn't say it was mysterious. I said God knew he was going to take those people.
Yeah.
And I essentially blamed the plane crash on God. I said God took them. He knew he was going to take them in the plane crash. The Lord gives and the Lord takes away. Blessed be the name of the Lord is my perspective on that stuff. The specifics as to why God causes tragedies, or why God blesses people, that is equally mysterious. For example, why I am blessed with all the things that I have. The doctor told my mother I was never going to be able to have kids, and I can't stop having kids. That is a mystery, because there's other people that would. I was just in a forum, pro-life forum, and there's this woman who's been trying to have a child for 2 years. And it's not happening for her. Meanwhile, it's happening for me. Why I'm blessed with so many children when I wasn't even supposed to be able to have one is a mystery. And why that girl can't have kids is also a mystery. So God's blessings and God's, not necessarily cursings, but negative providences or bad providences, they're both mysterious. But what cannot be denied is that at some level it had to be God's will. Otherwise, the plane wouldn't have crashed. But good point though, Amy, because a lot of believers would say all the blessings come from God. What I thought you were gonna say is all the bad stuff is because of the devil. But you did. But Yeah, the song is really, really disturbing to me, but I really like the song, and it's going into my playlist. It's a 10.5 for me.
Oh, wow.
I think that everybody needs to hear it. You know, one of the standards they have for the NFL Hall of Fame is that you cannot tell a story of the NFL without this player. Now, I just think you cannot tell a story of rock and roll, whatever genre this is, without this particular song. Particularly, quote, Southern rock. Mm-hmm. I don't think you can tell the story of Southern rock without this band and this song in particular. That's what I really, really believe. So it's getting a 10.5 for me.
It's a 9.85 for me. I definitely think it's an important song. I think that I felt like that they were trying to... Well, the other one, the guy was just completely taken over by his alcoholism, and there was like no, dying inside by Saint Vitus. There was no... It seemed like that there was no escape, but this one, it seems like it's a warning. It's, it just came off in a totally different way, and I think probably it saved lives. So I'm definitely a fan. I'm going with the 9.85.
Yeah, really, 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 really good song.
Solid
really
10 from River.
10.5 for me. Really good song. Rest in peace to all the homies. Inshallah, we'll see them all again, inshallah. Yeah, one of these days I'm going to do like a Don Hoffman mega stream at like 4, 5, 6 o'clock at night. And that'll give you guys some perspective on my world. Because I'm still developing. I was telling Sori I'm going to create a separate anonymous channel that collates all of my various philosophies. But I'm legit afraid to do it because I don't want it to become a cult. I don't want to be another Teal Swan. All right, more on the way. Vin out.
Sorry out.
Gone. All right, guys. Commercial break. We shall return. Turn. I'm Vin.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at insori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is a community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed. A child shall lead them.
Buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. Shout out to Sister Sadie.
Hey, Sadie. Aerosmith, No Suprize is up next.
AT, if I did my philosophy channel, I legit would not tell you. It would be a completely anonymous channel, and I would not even make reference to it. Okay, go ahead.
The song was released in 1979 off of the... So if you guys run into a philosophy channel that doesn't show the person's face and has a weird sounding voice... reach out to your anonymous boy. It's so bad, babe. Why would you say all of that?
I don't think they're ever going to find it, to be honest with you. I really don't.
Yeah, they'll probably run across somebody else's and assume it's yours. Okay, back to this. Aerosmith Surprise. No surprise. This song was released in 1979 off of the Night in the Ruts album released by Columbia Records. At the time of this song's release, Aerosmith was having heroin addiction problems. The band here tells the story of when they first got discovered by Columbia Records thanks to the then president Clive Davis back in 1971. This must be Revo talking now.
100%.
Columbia Records had originally taken a staunch anti-rock stance. Oh, wow, okay. They began embracing rock with Clive Davis becoming president in 1967, sorry. You may remember the Chamber Brothers claimed that he refused to record their Time Has Come Today, saying, "We don't do that kind of shit on this label." They recorded it anyway, and it became a hit due to FM radio. However, staff who aided in its release were fired. Man, people in their control, right?
Holy shit.
Under his leadership, he signed Chicago, Pink Floyd, Billy Joel, Bruce Springsteen, Janis Joplin, and countless other stars. In 1973, the FBI had busted a heroin smuggling operation, which implicated Dave Winshaw, who was vice president of artist relations at Columbia. President Clive Davis had to resign of his position. Rumor was that free drugs and prostitutes were being given to the label's music artists and radio station DJs. Clive Davis never was charged, saying Winshaw forged his signature, and he had no knowledge of anything like that happening.
Holy smokes.
Clive Davis went on to be one of the top music moguls as he founded Arista Records, LaFace with L.A. Reid and Babyface, and founded Bad Boy Records with Sean Combs.
Not Combs. Combs.
Okay, well, I had a friend, and that's how she spelled her name,
I was just
and it
pronouncing
was
it.
Combs.
I'm just pronouncing it correctly.
Okay, Combs.
I grew up with the man, so.
He is now in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a non-performer for the talent he discovered and made famous.
All right, here we go.
Oh, shoot, I think my friend's last name had 2 O's.
Here we don't go, because I don't have the video.
Oh, no.
We are professionals. Do not try this at home, dear listener.
I know.
Aerosmith, what's the name of the song?
No Surprise.
No Surprise. Okay. Where's my money? Let me find out, Aerosmith. That's Steven Tyler. Has he ever tried to do any, like, rap?
I don't know, but he did get pretty fast there.
Has Steven Tyler ever, like, done a rap song? Because that dude could definitely rap if he wanted to.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
More money, more problems. He said...
I don't understand the tea boiling. I understand give me my money. But
there was a lot of things I did not understand lyrically in this song. But I'm sure there was a lot of rhyme and reason behind it if you would ask Steven Tyler. Okay, so it starts off saying 1971 we all heard the starter's gun. New York was such a pity, but at Max's Kansas City we won. We all shot the shit at the bar with Johnny O'Toole and his scar. And then old Clive Davis said, I'm surely going to make us a star. I'm going to make you a star just the way you are. But with all his style, I could see in his eyes that we is going to trial. It's no surprise. Did they end up suing Clive Davis?
Wow.
Was that in the thingamajiggy?
Hear that? No.
In the intro?
I didn't know.
Okay, but like the song starts off like every rock and roller's dream, right? Like you're playing the clubs or whatever. New York didn't go so well, but there you are in Kansas City playing a club, and there's Clive Davis who strolls up to you and says, I've just discovered you. You're going to be a famous rock star. That must be, I don't know how old
just the
they
way
were.
you are. Like, he's not trying to change you. He's like, just the way you are, you're good. We're going somewhere.
Right. Because he has the vision. He had the vision for it. Okay, they did a song with Run DMC called Walk This Way. Okay, that makes sense.
So that was like a rap style?
Yeah, well, Run DMC was a rap group, but they're like legit old school rap. So Run DMC was around. I didn't really listen to them because I wasn't really around to hear their stuff. And by the time I was listening to Big and Mason, all that, so Run DMC sounded too dated. It was too old school for me, so I'm not sure. But okay. But I trust our folks because our folks they know their stuff. So I'm going to say that he did a song with Run DMC. Okay. So it just starts off with everybody's dream.
I thought this part was funny, though. The boys kept kicking ass, as usual time would tell. But some bitch in the choir throws some water on the fires of hell. She loved to show and tell. Lord, she loved to tell. So I'm assuming that it was some, more religious person that was just getting them into trouble.
Taj Mahaj in the house. Haven't seen you in a while, homie. Go ahead. Yeah, probably some religious lady.
Oh, some bitch in the choir that's so bad. And then, and the other thing too is,
and she loved to tell.
She loved to show and tell. She loved to tell. Like, obviously for her, it's like when people. God love the Christians. Remember when we first started the channel and Christians would come on and they'd be like, oh, some Christians, you are listening to this kind of metal, blah, blah, blah. And they would say that we understood from what they were saying that they were Christians. And so it was like, okay, well, if Christians shouldn't listen to this type of music, how the hell did you find our review? Remember that?
Yeah.
So that to me was like, she loved to show and tell, Lord, she loved to tell. So she was there. That's how she knew they were singing like that.
I used when we first started the channel and a Christian would say something, I used to tell them to email me their concerns. And I would take it very, very seriously.
You did.
And then we were around one of our friends who's in a band, and but he was a Christian too. And he was in a pretty big band. He left the band, and then he came back a couple years later, and all the Christians, whatever, you're a dog going back to your vomit, blah, blah, blah. Gosh. He goes, yeah, I delete those emails. I don't even read them. And you were like, yeah, fuck those people. I tried to, but I did listen to him. I do take him I do take them very, very seriously. But the problem is that I don't really look at those. I don't engage those folks anymore because I'm just too busy.
Yeah, but when you weren't so
my...
busy, you definitely took the time. I didn't because I've lived underneath the weight of their judgment for far too long. So yeah, I was like, yeah, no, not at all. I just wouldn't engage at all. I didn't get rude or mean or anything like that. I just didn't engage.
Yeah, you just ignore them.
Yeah.
You just ignore them.
Anyway, so with all our styles, you could see in our eyes that we were still on trial, and it was no surprise. Midnight Lady, situation fetal? Vaccinate your ass with a phonograph needle? I had no idea what was happening.
Well, you would assume it would be situation fatal.
Oh.
But it says situation fetal. So I think what's happening is it's a Midnight Lady and they probably got somebody pregnant is what happened. Because it says situation fetal.
Oh my gosh.
Vaccinate your ass with a photograph needle. I'm assuming that's some form of an abortion or something like that. Like that's how
yeah,
he's...
now that you brought that. Well, remember
I don't know. I don't know what a photograph needle is though.
I thought that was that played the phonograph. I thought it played sound. I thought it was like the needle right there. Right here on one that plays the record. That's what I thought it was. But how could you?
Yeah, I don't
see how you could do anything with that.
I don't see the correlation.
That's why I thought it was more of like a tattoo. But that
is it phonograph or photograph?
Phono.
Phonograph. Okay, it's a thing that you play. That's the thing that the record spins on.
Yeah.
And plays the music. Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe he's saying it's his music. Their music is the vaccine. I'm not sure.
I don't know, but remember the record label was giving them women and something else. Maybe it has something to do with that. Remember that?
They were giving them drugs and
women.
Yeah, well, was it Clive Davis?
Free drugs and prostitutes were being given to the label's music artists and radio station DJs. I wonder if that is anything.
Situation fetal. But anyway, long story short, in the song, it doesn't look like things end up well, or it's not as celebratory as you would assume, because at the end of the song, he's asking for his royalties. Right? So I think the song is called No Surprise because on the one hand, they probably knew that they were so good that they were eventually going to get signed. I'm assuming that at the time that they were so different, like that there wasn't any band out there like them, and Steven Tyler has a very, very distinct voice. So maybe no surprise means we're not surprised that we got signed, but it also didn't turn out the way that they thought it would, and so it's no surprise that, you know, you get a little jaded and then at the end of the song you're asking for your royalties. So both of them, you know, it's no surprise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like I don't really know enough about the music.
Right.
About music in the sense of how much they get paid and if it's
right.
Like, because you don't know. It could be that
it
could be that they're getting paid, you know, a reasonable amount. Like, so for instance, this is a weird example, but my parents used to own apartment buildings. And the people that lived in the apartment buildings were like, wow, these people are just rolling in the dough. I mean, we're giving them hundreds of dollars every single month for this apartment. And what are they doing with it? They just get paid. Well, no, they have heat, they have hot water that you're getting for free that they have to pay for. They have to pay the mortgage on the building. They have to pay for any repairs and damages that happen to the building. And they have they have property taxes. They have all these expenses. My parents were not making shit with those buildings at that time. They don't have them anymore, but they were not making that money. But the people at the building were just looking at it like, I'm giving X amount of money every single month, and there's how many people in this building? We're all giving them this money. Like, these people are, but it's just because you're not seeing both sides of it. So I don't know, like, if you actually saw the numbers, because I do believe that there are times where people are getting completely ripped off. Namely, this is my opinion. Again, I don't know anything about behind the scenes, but I think what is charged for funerals is friggin' outrageous. And the costs,
Chaga, dear listener.
the costs involved in that I don't think are comparable for what they're actually doing for services. But again, I've never seen behind the scenes. So I don't know if music is like that. Like, are they really being compensated? But it's potent.
Whoo! It's the most potent chaga I've ever had. Holy shit.
I don't know if they're being compensated or if it's not, or if it's really, if they should be getting a lot more money, but the record label is taking a lot of their revenue. I don't know. I don't know enough about it.
What'd you think of the song?
I enjoyed
It's a 7.5 for me.
I enjoyed the song. I don't think that it was like, top notch like other Aerosmith songs. So for me, I'm gonna go with you. What'd you give it?
7.5.
I'm gonna give it an 8.
There you are, dear listener. Aerosmith, no surprise.
Ooh, Neil Young is up next.
Neil Young is up next, losers. Having said that, been out.
Sorry, out.
Go. Oh shit, Dwayne gave it a 6.5. Holy shit, Dwayne. All right, commercial break. We'll be right back.
That's a close.
I'm Vin.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, $125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. $125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at insori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 here and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed. A child shall lead them.
To buy our merch. All right, Neil Young is up next. I need that timestamp.
236.52.
2:36. Neil Young. The Needle and the Damage. Done. Excuse me. Start the song. Oh, we can't. Oh, you're gonna have to read. I can't read right now.
Okay.
Here you go.
In 1970 and 71, several rock stars died at young ages. Brian Jones of the Rolling Stones, Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, and Jim Morrison. In Janis Joplin's case, we know it was heroin, and in Jim Morrison's case, it was probably heroin as well. This song was written and released in 1972, a year after those incidents. Neil Young's bandmate in his Crazy Horse band, Danny Whitten, would die later this year, and most speculate it is about him. The song was released on the Harvest album, released by Reaper Records, and has the song Heart of Gold on it that you two have reacted to. The title is referenced in the Thursday song Understanding in a Car Crash. Yes! Which is one of my favorite songs ever. The needle and the damage done. I don't want to feel this way forever. A dead letter marked return to sender.
I'll let you guys know when he gets on American Idol. So
Here we go.
Tune in.
Yeah, you guys can catch your boy on American Idol. Vote for me. Okay, here we go. The needle and the damage done. The big homie, Neil Young. If I could find it, there it is right there. The needle and the damage done. Neil Young, let's do it.
A lot of great artists get affected by that. A lot of great art goes down a drain. got you knocking at my cellar door. I love you, baby, can I have some more? Oh, the damage done. I hit the city and I lost my band. I watched the needle take another man.
Wow.
Gone, gone, the damage done. I sing the song because I love the man. I know that some of you won't understand. Milk, blood to keep from running out. I've seen the needle and the damage done. A little part of it in everyone. But every junkie's like a setting sun.
I'll tell you, I could listen to that man sing all day long.
Yeah, he's got such a... You don't imagine he's going to have a voice like that when you look at him.
No.
He looks kind of ogreish.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And even, like, you know, like, there are some voices that you're like, that's just... Everybody's going to love that voice. I'm not sure that everybody's going to love his voice, but it kind of, like...
Sadie doesn't. She says she hates Neil Young.
See, that's what I mean. It's just
I don't
one
think
of those
I've ever
things
seen
that...
Sadie say she kind of likes something.
It's
She either
either-
loves something or hates something. Crucified Christians, whatever.
She's an extreme. She's an extreme person. We can appreciate people like that.
I do.
So, we try to have a little stowaway wanted to come in here and say hi to the people.
Okay.
You want me to let
Bring
him
him.
come
I
in?
don't care. He wants to say hi.
Orion, come say hi to the people.
Oh, he's gone.
Okay.
All right. Well.
There he is. Look at him. Come here.
All right. Come on. You want to say hi to the people?
Yeah.
Okay. Come on. Come on. Say hi to the people.
He's like a little football player.
Go ahead. Do it again.
Right in there. Say hi to the people.
Hi, people.
Say, I am Fuji.
I Woody.
Okay.
Are you being good?
Yes.
Or are you being bad?
Who made you good? Who made you good?
Made me good.
Who?
Made me good.
Oh. Okay.
All right, give Daddy a hug.
Woo, you smell.
Doesn't
All right,
he
you gotta
look cute in
go.
That shirt, like a little football player.
Yeah, he looks like a. Don't wear that shirt though. You're not gonna be a Packer. You're gonna be a Patriot.
Oh, is that what that's supposed to be?
All right. I love you.
Bye, love you.
Bye.
Go kiss Reza.
Also, you smell. Yes.
Yeah.
I love you. Okay.
Bye. Sweaty little boys.
I caught
All
you
right.
knocking at my cellar door. I love you, baby. Can I have some more of the damage done? I hate the city.
The way he sings it,
Yeah.
like it just kind of gives you that feel. Love you too. It just gives you that feel like this is like it's got like this sadness to it. And he doesn't make the song very long, and he doesn't say a lot of lyrics.
Right.
And it's just, to me, it's like that simplicity of, there are some things that you don't really need to say a lot about, like it's just understandable. And when he's the ending, when he said, "But every junkie's like a setting sun," that was like really sad.
Yeah.
But but I don't think it's true because, well, we've seen people come out of it. But I think he's probably talking more about like a precautionary tale type of.
Well, a setting sun is beautiful. That's the thing. When you see the sun go down in its all of its fiery glory, it's one of the most beautiful things ever. But that's the end of it. And so I think when you look at these rock stars, they're amazing. They're full of all this power and beauty and fire, but they're setting. You know, it's they're leaving us, and you know it's a really, really, really horrible situation to go through. But he kept it really, really, really short. But I hit the city and I lost my band. I watched the needle take another man, and then he had a guy in his band die a couple weeks or months after he did this performance, according to Revo, I think it was.
After?
Yeah, as a lot of people thought that he was singing to this guy.
Died later this year, and most speculate it's about him.
Yeah, so he died later on that year.
Oh, so he was singing about. Oh my God!
Well,
that's awful.
he had already. All those famous people had already died, which I'm sure he was friends with all those people because the music industry is actually very small, especially at that time. So I'm sure he knew those guys.
Yeah.
And loved those guys. And on top of it, he's an artist, so he appreciates music. And like, yo, man, these guys. Imagine what we would have had if Big was alive, if Pop was alive, if Morrison, and all these people like we lost. It's almost like, you know, that there's this library in Alexandria, Egypt that just got like demolished and set on fire. And honestly, aside from the Holocaust, that's probably the greatest tragedy in human history. Losing all of that art and knowledge from the ancient world and customs and things like that. It's like
what was lost?
It was a library in Alexandria, Egypt that got completely dead.
Yes,
basically set on fire and all the rest.
Yeah, that happened a while ago.
Yeah, it happened like thousands of years ago.
Yeah,
But
just the way that you said it, it made it sound like something just recently happened.
To me, it's. I honestly don't think about it a lot because it upsets me. Because, like, there's just so much knowledge that we lost, and so many brilliant artists, and probably amazing poetry that we never got to read. That to me.
Why did they do that?
I'm pretty sure it's the Romans that did that, but that to me is like one of the worst tragedies in human history. To lose all of that is pretty freaking horrible. Which is, you know, the internet has a lot of horrible evil to it, but digitizing that kind of data makes it so that we'll never lose it again.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, man, like it must be really hard to because a lot of these guys are fans of each other. So just like we're fans, and you know, if one of your favorite artists die, you feel it. Well, these guys are fans of each other, but on top of that, they're friends of each other. So it's very hard. You see him at the beginning. He said, you know, a lot of good music going down the drain. It's difficult, man. It's really, really difficult.
I wonder too if it kind of brings a certain level of like instability because, you know, like when you're rolling. First started like.
Oh yeah.
When we first started doing reactions.
Yeah.
Like there were other people that were there, and you know, like some of the people I know like very much annoyed you because you know they were stealing shit, but. But I was still sad when they kind of like dropped off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, because it's like, well, you know,
it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to do, but obviously, you know, it's not the same thing as.
No, I'm just saying like that was like in a small sense a little bit hard. But if you have artists that you are influenced by and you influence, like that's got to be something else there for sure. I love this song. I love this guy's voice. Like I said, I could listen to an entire album of Neil Young, and you know, who knows? Maybe one day somebody will put that on the docket. But for now, we got the individual songs.
Yeah, it's
this is a 10 for me.
10 for me as well. 10 for me as well. Really, really, really good song. Rest in peace to all the homies. All I can say is, if you've got drug addiction, man, particularly the hard shit, get yourself some help.
Yep. Don't wait.
I think one of the things that people don't realize is how important they are. People don't realize how important they are.
Yeah, I was going to say that earlier.
Like Shout out to the big homie Billy, who emailed me last night. But I genuinely do believe that that's part. Obviously, there's the chemical aspect to drug addiction. But, you know, when I talk about like long-range suicide, where people do things that set them on a track that's gonna only end in death, a lot of it's the same thing in the ghetto too. Like, I heard something mega insightful from one of these Chicago gangbangers. He basically said, well, my life didn't mean anything to me, so I didn't have, you know, I had no issues gangbanging because, and I was like, holy shit, you don't even think about that in regard to like Chicago gang violence. You just think, oh, you know, all these people and they're getting revenge and all that. But this guy had gotten to a point where he was like, I don't really value my life, so I don't care. I'll just keep doing this. I'm gonna get killed eventually, whatever. And it's like that a lot of times with folks addicted to these hard drugs. Maybe they had self-esteem issues before, or maybe the drugs took away all of that will to live and the will to fight through it, or all the rest of it, and they end up just feeling that there isn't really much value to their lives, so they're going to do this long-range suicide thing. So I would just ask people to think through those ramifications and to understand that the world's not going to be the same without you. You're not going to be, but it's like I said earlier, everybody has something that they're a genius at.
Literally
that they
what I was
need
going to say, yeah.
to contribute to the world. And if you peace out prematurely, among the other 10,000 reasons you shouldn't die, that's one of the tragedies of your death, if you were to die. So anyway, just something to think about. Anyway, songs of 10 for me.
10 for me as well.
There you are, dear listener. We've got more coming your way. Vin out.
Sorry out.
Gone. All right, guys. Commercial break. We shall return. Turn. I'm Vin.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, $125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. $125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at itsori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed. Child shall lead them.
To buy our merch. All right. Leonard Cohen. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, Leonard Cohen.
Next. The name of the song is Chelsea Hotel Number 2. And let's see what our DJs have to say about it. This was released on the New School for New Skin album, released by Columbia Records in 1974. At concerts, Leonard Cohen revealed he wrote the song about Janis Joplin. Janis Joplin had a strong heroin addiction in 1969 that killed her the next year. Wow. Both her and Cohen lived in the infamous Chelsea Hotel in New York, which is where the title comes from. Leonard Cohen regretted the decision to reveal the song was about Joplin, as he told the BBC, "It was indiscretion for which I am very sorry."
It was an indiscretion? It was an
indiscretion for which I am very sorry. And if there was some way of apologizing to a ghost, I want to apologize now for having committed that indiscretion. Researchers have found rock and metal fans to often suffer from low self-esteem, which also tends to be a trait of heroin users. These rock stars probably suffered from these issues, which made them highly susceptible to gaining a dependency on these drugs. On Clive Davis' Soundtrack of Our Lives documentary, author DeCurtis says in relation to anti-rock management at Columbia that it permeated the entire company. Even if the times themselves were tough, it doesn't surprise me that their artists were the fastest to turn cynical lyrically when they were recording surrounded in that environment. It seems to me that Bob Dylan and Paul Simon lyrically turned cynical when they were still in charge. I get the impression that Leonard Cohen was cynical before joining Columbia. Cynicism can be contagious and preys like a cancer in vulnerable populations, as does hard drugs like heroin. Wow. Okay.
All right.
Oh boy, he regrets.
Here we go. Shout out to the
announcing
homie
it.
Janis Joplin, and here we go. Leonard Cohen, Chelsea Hotel. Let's do it.
I remember you well. You were talking so even so sweet, giving me head on the unmade bed while the limousines wait in the street. Those were the reasons, that was New York. We were running for the money and the flesh, and that was called love. For the workers in song, probably still is for those of them left. Yeah, but you got away, didn't you, babe? You just turn your back on the crowd. You got away, I never once heard you say, I need you, I don't need you. I need you, I don't need you, and all of that jiving around. I remember you well in the Chelsea Hotel. You were famous, your heart was a legend. Told me again you preferred handsome men, but for me you would make an exception. And clenching your fist for the ones like us who are oppressed by the figures of beauty. You fixed yourself. You said, well, never mind. We are ugly, but we have the music. And then you got away, didn't you, baby? You just turned your back on the crowd. You got away, I never once heard you say, I need you, I don't need you, I need you, I don't need you, and all of that jiving around. I don't mean to suggest that I loved you the best. I can't keep track of each fallen robin. I remember you well in the Chelsea Hotel. That's all, I don't even think of you that often.
Wow.
Damn.
I mean...
He said a lot in very few words.
Okay.
And I get it, man. Why would you say that it was about her?
Okay.
That was horrible.
Whoa,
what's wrong with you?
I must be missing a lot of things. It sound like what I got from the song was they were chilling in the Chelsea Hotel, you know, doing what people do, whatever. And then she basically said that he's not attractive, but I don't think she felt she was attractive either. And
yeah, she says we're ugly, but we got the music.
yeah, so they were ugly together. And he's saying when she left, he never heard her say, like, I need you or I don't need you. It was just kind of like she was just done. And then at the end, the only part that I was kind of like, was when he said, like, I don't even really think of you that often. Like, you know, I'm not even saying that I loved you the best. I can't keep track of each fallen robin. In other words, there's been so many of you. That to me is like the worst part too. But what am I missing? Because you said he really shouldn't. Like, I didn't think it was like really horrible. I thought it was gonna be. I mean, you have no idea what I thought he was gonna say.
Well, no, when he says I can't keep track of each fallen robin, I don't think he's talking about women. I think he's talking about all the people around that time that were dropping like flies. All the people that were dying. We just got done that Neil Young song. This guy died. This guy died. This guy died. This guy died. So everybody's dying. I think that's what he's referring to.
Oh,
I don't
so he
think
wrote this after she died?
I don't think he's saying when he says every fallen robin, which is a bird, you know.
Well, yeah, I know, but I just thought it was.
Yeah, I think he's talking about.
I didn't think it meant death. I just thought it meant like.
Yeah, didn't he say that he wrote this as a tribute to her after she died?
Oh, I.
That's what.
Didn't realize it
was
a tribute. Said. Okay. What? Was it really?
So anyway, but you got away, didn't you, babe? You just turned your back on the crowd. Huh?
What year was it written?
74.
74. Right, it was written in 74. Wait a minute. Should have strong in 69 that killed her the next year. Oh.
Okay, so when he says fallen robin, I'm assuming he's just talking about all the people that just, and I mean, people started dropping like flies because they were fucking around with heroin and all this stuff. Because hey, it's the 60s, and they were that generation that showed the world this is what the fuck heroin does to people. So they were just dropping like flies.
Yeah. Okay.
So I mean, there's certain details about their relationship that, to me,
should have been kept private.
Goes against code. You don't go and fucking, say all that shit. I mean, he had to get it out because he loved her. You know,
you didn't have to say it was her.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you didn't have to tell people that was you, but this guy's voice is something else, man. The video that we had him young, but most of we've done a lot of Leonard Cohen, and he's usually older, like New York Frank Sinatra Italian looking. Well, he's Jewish, I think, but he's got that like mobster,
that sort of look to him.
Yeah, it's like he would be doing shit for John Gotti. I'm sure he's done stuff with Gotti and all the rest of it.
Well, we don't know for sure.
We don't know for sure. You just turned your back on the crowd. You got away. I never once heard you say, I need you, I don't need you. Which is the, from a man's perspective, the games that girls play. I need you, I don't need you, blah, blah, blah.
He's saying I never heard you say either one of them. He's saying
you never did that. I think that's he respects, there's Sadie not being patient. She goes, he was Jewish. She does all this stuff. 2 seconds later, she was listening. That's what happens when you're on a delay. He's Jewish. You told me again you preferred handsome men. That line is crazy because I'm pretty certain that that's a reference to Morrison. Jim Morrison, the guy from The Doors, because that's the guy that she was obsessed with that dude.
Oh.
So much so that I think it was Amy that said, drugs didn't kill him. Drugs didn't kill... Yeah, right there. Drugs did not kill Janice. She offed herself because she was in love with Jim Morrison. So that's Amy's interpretation of the life and death of
why? Because Jim wasn't interested in her?
Huh?
Because Jim wasn't interested in her?
Well, I don't know if he wasn't interested in her, but I mean, he was a rock star and an extremely handsome rock star. And an extremely poetic... He's probably the most poetic rock star of them all, to be honest with you. This Morrison guy, the dude from The Doors.
And this is her?
And that's her. I mean, I don't think she's ugly, but in comparison to Jim Morrison, if you Google Jim Morrison, you'll see, like, the dude was like... He was like made in a lab. I mean, he was I mean, look at him. The guy's you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, but this is him when he got older.
Nah, I mean, I guess. I mean, that was toward the end of his life and whatever. But I mean, look at him. He's I mean, he's I mean, no homo, but he's just a beautiful specimen of a man. You know that picture where the guy like this and all the, you know, the one.
Yeah.
That's him.
No,
that's him. Like he's.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah. I mean.
The Lizard King. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
He's the type of guy that women get obsessed with. Handsome, but he's artsy and he's poetic and he's tortured. Women love that guy. They love him.
Women love that guy.
Honestly, if I could write a book on how to snag very, very beautiful women, because this is going to offend a lot of you guys, but the formula is really simple, okay? Brothers, do yourself up a little bit, okay? Have some inner torture and turmoil, okay? But be mysterious about it, and then write shit. Even if you're not a good poet, your poetry doesn't necessarily have to be good, okay? And if you play that tortured soul role long enough, they will come to you because they're natural nurturers. But Leonard Cohen was just too.
Yeah, but the thing is,
he was too. He was too balanced.
I need you to do me a huge giant favor after the stream and get that spider out of here. That one that was that's what I said about the one in our room, and it fell on me in the middle of the night.
Yeah, did it harm you?
Yes, I had to squish it in my sheets, and I'm very grossed out by that.
Okay, so you just you just admitted to murder. Okay, continue.
Okay, anyway, the thing about the tortured soul, there's two types of tortured soul. There's a tortured soul that pities themselves, and that's not the type of tortured soul that women like. The tortured soul that keeps.
Well, depending on how good looking you are, like AT could get away with the self pitying tortured soul.
I never met a girl that liked self pity.
Well, again, a lot of it has to do with your attractiveness scale. Girl, you guys will look the other way a lot if you're attracted to the guy. That's what it looks like to me.
Babe, this is never gonna happen.
Janis Joplin. Again, I don't think she was ugly, but in comparison to Jim Morrison,
you know, she kind of looks like. Do you remember? Fuck, you never saw Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, did you?
That's Okay, finish your thought, because AT was like, that's callous as fuck, sorry. So the girls don't like the self-pitying torture.
Yeah. When they're always like feeling so sad for themselves and everything that they've been through, and they can't even see like, okay, so like if maybe you don't answer every message that they send you, they start getting like that sort of obsessive sort of, and because they're so like injured internally, they start like sucking the life out of you. That's not the type of tortured soul that a woman wants to be with.
Right.
The one that like is like trying to survive, and then you want to heal them.
But you didn't hear the other part of my advice column. You have to be aloof, brother. You have to be aloof. So you can't complain about not getting a text back, because that's not what an aloof person does. The more interest you show at the beginning, the less your luck is going to be, brother. So you've got to be tortured and aloof, and they'll come flocking to you. But it's very fascinating because, like I said, there are certain details that I would not share, and he shouldn't have shared that it was her. But at the same time, if you look at the song, he respected and loved her.
Babe,
you know, aside from loving her, I really feel like he respected her in this song.
That's why. Can you please take those and put those up on the screen?
Okay.
Like I said, I felt like Veruca. I think that she looks like Veruca. Yeah. So one of them is Janis, and then the other one is Veruca from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Just put those up there.
Okay.
I just think that it looks like the same person.
So is that Veruca right there?
That's Veruca.
Oh, there's a band called Veruca Salt.
Oh, that's her. Yeah, that bratty girl from Willy Wonka.
Was there something about salt?
Yeah, that's her last name, Veruca Salt.
Oh, so they named the band after her?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Tell me they don't look like it's an older version of Veruca Salt.
Yeah, I see it. Anyway,
So yeah, I didn't think that it was really like I agree with you that, you know, like the personal details, you probably could have left that to the side. But I just didn't think that it was really, I don't know. Like, okay, if something had happened to me and you put out something like this, that wouldn't really bother me.
It wouldn't bother you?
No.
Interesting.
Well,
okay.
I just don't. Even
and yes, the girls do like humor. Humor is like the number one trait.
Yeah, right.
Yes, but if let me tell you something, brothers. If you're overweight and you have no personality, self-depreciating humor is not going to get you anything. You got to have some problem that they can fix. I'm telling you. All right. What do you get the song? 9.9 from me.
This is literally what I was going to say. 9.9.
There you are, dear listener. I have just alienated all of our female villagers, but I've done a very big solid to all the brothers. So I'll take it. Thin out.
Sorry, Al.
Go. All right, dear listener, we shall return. We have another song from you by a band called The Who. We shall return. I'm Vin.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at itsori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is a community option. $1 at the gate gets you in a Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed. A child shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
What? What are you laughing at?
I'm laughing at Revo. AT and Vin have a bromance.
I don't have a problem with that. AT's my guy. Fuck everybody.
I know. Shoot, if it wasn't for AT, I would have never got a chance to meet him. Vin was like, see ya.
Yeah, I wouldn't have brought him over here.
I know. I was like, well, thank you very much. Wow. Rude. Okay, so the last song on our DJ stream today is The Who.
The Who?
I Can See for Miles. Thank you for the charger.
I'm good.
We're all perfectly good. Thank you. Bye. Okay, so this is one of the Who. Okay, again, just in case we haven't announced it enough, this stream is called The Needle and the Spoon for the big homie Middle Earth and Revo.
Yes, sir.
The last song on the list is This Is One of the Who's Psychedelic Rocks from 1967, released by Track Records. This is the company formed by their managers that also released that Jimi Hendrix song, Purple Haze. I Can See for Miles was released as a single off of their concept album, The Who Sellout, and was their most successful song on the US charts. A lot of The Who's success was due to pirate radio, which relied heavily on commercial advertisements. In the US, we used FM radio to break out of the top 40 AM pop radio format in the late 60s, but that was more tricky in the UK. Some people in the UK would set up ships in international waters to broadcast pirate radio where the British government couldn't touch them. It's so interesting. Here they could play songs that the BBC, which relies on licensing fees, wouldn't play. The year of this album release, the British government passed the Marine and Sea Broadcasting Offences Act of 1967, which outlawed this loophole but expanded the BBC radio stations and hired staff and DJs from the pirate radio stations. Man, the government always has to have something for themselves, right?
Unbelievable.
Wow. We'll hire you, but you're now under us. This concept album mimics a pirate radio broadcast, which included fake advertisements to real products that are similar to what would have been played on these stations. This song is the closing track to side A of the album. Pete Townshend told Rolling Stone magazine at the time, the words, which aging senators have called drug-oriented, are about a jealous man with exceptionally good eyesight. Honest. Pete Townshend claims this is the year he stopped taking drugs until 1979, after their drummer died on drugs. Most people who don't follow the drug interpretation think this song is about Pete Townshend's wife, who they speculate must have been cheating while he was on tour.
Oh, that's not good. All right, well, having said that, dear listener, here we go. The Who, I Could See for Miles.
Oh my gosh, if that's what it's about.
Let's do it.
I can see for miles.
This looks like an official video.
I know you deceived me, now here's a surprise.
Uh-oh.
I know that you have, 'cause there's magic in my eyes. I can see for miles and miles.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, Muhammad Ali!
If you think that I don't know about the little tricks you play, and never see you when deliberately you put things in my way, well, here's a poke at you. You're gonna choke on it too. You're gonna lose that smile, because all the while I could see for miles and miles. I could see for miles and miles. I could see for miles and miles and miles and miles and miles.
It's really like hypnotic with this guy's voice.
What'd you say?
His voice is really hypnotic.
Oh, yeah. Trust in you when I was so far away. I saw you holding lots of other guys, and now you've got the nerve to say,
the nerve,
that you still want me. Well, that says maybe, but you gotta stand trial, because all the while I can see for miles and miles. I can see for miles and miles. I can see for miles and miles and miles and miles and miles. Oh yeah. I know you've deceived me, now here's a surprise.
Oh my God.
I know that you have, 'cause there's magic in my eyes. I can see for miles and miles and miles and miles and miles. Oh yeah. The Eiffel Tower and the Taj Mahal, nights to see on clear days. You thought that I would need a crystal ball to see right through the haze. Well, here's a poke at you. You're gonna choke on it too. You're gonna lose that smile, because all the while I could see for miles and miles. I could see for miles and miles. I could see for miles and miles and miles and miles and miles and miles. see for miles and miles. I can 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 see for miles.
Right, so a lot of people interpreted this.
Very uncomfortable.
A lot of people interpreted this as a drug song. But
okay.
I don't think. I think Stars in Your Eyes or whatever, and people just assumed he was talking about drugs.
I mean, it seems to me
It seemed pretty straightforward to me, though.
Yeah, me as well. You know what I think?
That's a very artful interpretation to make it about drugs.
Yeah. It definitely looks like it's about his girl cheating on him, and he's saying that he can see for miles, and there's magic in his eyes, so he knows what's going on. Okay, so I have two things to say about this. One could be that it's like when somebody uses the phrase, a little birdie told me. Nobody thinks that a bird told them.
Right.
It's that somebody informed them.
Yeah.
So it could be that he was popular enough and a lot of people liked him that they were like, yo, your girl, blah, blah, blah. And so he's saying, I see for miles. Or the other thing is, obviously there's a historical precedent for, people in power thinking that a man thinks that his wife cheated on him. She actually didn't. And, or she's a witch and we're going to drown her. And if she floats, then, all that whole,
like, crazy. Yeah.
Right. And a lot of times people bring up this verse in the Bible to say that God is like good with abortion. And they talk about that if the woman, where if she supposedly,
the adultery test in Numbers 5.
if they think she cheated.
Shout out to Jake Uger.
I'm just going to say, hold your comments till the end because you might be wrong about this, and it's a little bit embarrassing if you are.
It's very embarrassing.
So, what was supposed to happen was you would take her to the priest, and if the priest would take some dust from the altar, like dust, and put it in water, and she would drink it. Obviously, dust is going to kill no one. It's going to not make you abort your baby. Nothing. The
woman's not even pregnant at this time. She's not even pregnant in Numbers 5.
Oh, she's not even pregnant as well.
What it says at the end is, if she has sinned against her husband, then basically her thigh, which is the Hebrew euphemism for, will waste away. But it says, if she has not ran off on her husband, then she will be able to conceive.
Okay.
So the curse is infertility.
Okay.
It's not a miscarriage or abortion. Shout out to Jake.
And so it's literally...
I'm trying to find out where you're going with this.
That's a matter of because we believe that our God is real. If she did, then that's going to be the consequence of those actions. She will be infertile. But if she didn't actually do it, the dust is going to do nothing one way or the other. It really comes down to the judgment of God on the person. But in this situation, he's saying that she cheated. Well, I don't know. I don't know anything about them. I don't know if it came out that she actually, because he says she's going to stand trial. But when it comes down to it, his reasoning is he can see for miles. So I don't know, it could be, like I said, that a little birdie told him, and he does know because of other circumstantial evidence. But it also could be that he is, some people are very controlling and jealous people, and those people will imagine all kinds of things. And so if that's the type of person or relationship, I'm sure that there's been a lot of women that have not done stuff in a relationship, but they were accused of it by the man, and because he believed it happened, he went after her with the fury of all of hell, because he believed she did something that she never did, when a lot of times...
I was reading Hammurabi's code. You could pull her hair out of her head and spit in her face in public. All types of crazy shit if you suspected your wife of running off on you. And Hammurabi's known as actually one of the better kind of law codes. The one I quote all the time is the strong shall not overcome the weak. That's Hammurabi's code. But yeah, there was severe penalties for women, which makes the adultery test in Numbers 5 particularly fascinating. Yeah. Especially, we were on an atheist show one time. We were talking about abortion, and the guy brought it up. And I told Sori, I was like, guarantee it's going to be Numbers 5. And he brought it up. And I said, listen, you don't believe there's a God in heaven? He goes, yeah. And I go, okay. So the adultery test would make it so that the woman always wins, because it's just dirt and water. So from your worldview, Moses set up this test where the woman will always win, even if she did cheat on her husband, because we all know that water and dust doesn't do anything to the ability to conceive. So it sets up a test where the woman always wins. Whereas if you look at the witch trials, they would set up these ridiculous tests where the woman was going to lose no matter what happened,
right.
whether or not there was a God.
The only way for her to be justified as not guilty, she would be dead.
To deny the laws of physics, like if she sinks, then she was innocent and God takes her soul. But if she floats after we put all these rocks on her, she's guilty. So they create this test, this heuristic where the woman is automatically going to lose. What's fascinating in Numbers 5 is, if I look at it from an atheist or even a non-Yahwist worldview, they set up this test so the woman always wins. Mm-hmm. So it's very, very, very fascinating.
Yeah.
But this guy, he's saying it pretty explicitly. I don't understand how you deceived me. Now here's a surprise. I know that you have, because there's magic in my eyes. So they took the magic thing, but I think it's pretty clear.
Yeah, I think it is too.
It's pretty clear what he's discussing.
If you think
here.
I don't know about the little tricks you've played.
Yeah.
And historically speaking, turning tricks, what that meant.
Right. And never see you when deliberately you put things in my way, which I'm assuming is like things to distract him from what's actually really happening. Mm-hmm. So, it's seems pretty straightforward. That must, it's a real. I was helping somebody out one time, and their person had transgressed the bounds of the relationship. Let me say it that way. But one of them was extremely attractive, and the other one not so much. So I'm helping this person out whose husband is done, and they look at me and they go, "Me? This happened to me?" And it must be like that if you're a rock star. It's like, I am a famous rock star in a very famous band. I'm on the road X amount of times. You're doing this to me?
Well, yeah, because the amount of opportunities that someone in that situation must have. And if, let's say he was actually, he was not cheating on her, which at least from what I know, and at this time period, I feel like that was more on the rare side. So, yeah, I could see his frustration with that situation.
Yeah, but Behind Blue Eyes was ironically about Townsend complaining about how hard it was for him to be true to her. See, that's the other side of this, is that if you go back to the thing, was it, who wrote the lyrics? Was it Townsend who wrote the lyrics of this song? Yeah, Pete Townsend claims this is the year he stopped taking drugs. Okay, so here's a crazy thing. He writes Behind Blue Eyes. Now, which song came first, Behind Blue Eyes or I Can See for Miles? That's a good question. Go to Genius.
I checked to see if it
We're going to do some detective work here, ladies and gentlemen.
This one came out in 1967.
1967, okay. Behind Blue Eyes.
Oh, you got it, okay.
No, go ahead, do it.
Well, you're going to get there before.
No, go ahead.
Okay, all right, I'm going to go.
We're going to do some investigative
we just
work
did
here. 1971.
Literally, that's why I didn't do it. We just did this thing yesterday where we were testing everybody's skill on typing, and I got a pretty low score. So why would I race you in it? I have definitive evidence you were going to get there first. Okay, so which year? 1961?
1967 was this song, and then 1971 was Behind Blue Eyes.
Well, so Behind Blue Eyes came after.
Right, so he started cheating on her after she cheated on him, damn it!
From what we just got in
it's
that.
It's your fault, ladies!
Oh my gosh. I mean, it could happen. I would think that, a lot of times once one person does it, then the other person wants to fight back.
And that's why,
I was talking to the girls last night, because that element was kind of in that thing that we were watching where, well, she misunderstood what was going on. She thought that everything was going one way for this guy. Poor guy had been in a fight the night before. It wasn't what she thought. Remember that part?
Yeah.
But I said, a lot of times in relationships when something goes a little sideways, then the person that feels like they got shafted wants to fight back. And I said, for one, it could be a situation like this where you don't realize actually what's going on. You have an assumption and you believe your assumption to be true. But we should never like compromise who we are and your integrity as a person based off what somebody else does, because you have to live the rest of your life with yourself. Right. You don't have to live the rest of your life with somebody else. And somebody else can make some really bad decisions for their life.
That's their decision.
And that is their decision.
Right.
And you can, you know, if you choose to end that relationship and you move on to another relationship, you want to know the type of person that you are, and that you're not the type of person that does tit for tat.
Yeah, you gotta have your own personal code, man. And you gotta stay to that code no matter what's going on in the relationship. I'm not gonna say that he started cheating on her after that, blah,
well,
blah,
you did
blah.
say that, though.
But lyrically or temporally,
yeah,
this song came before the other one.
Yeah, based off of our 2-second research.
And he stayed apparently he stayed with her. I mean, I've got a friend who's in a pretty big band, and at the height they did this legendary performance, like literally in the top 5 of all time in rock and roll history. And while he was out there wrecking shop, his girl was back home, all types of dudes in his house, all types of shit, and it almost went really sideways, bless God, but he didn't do what he thought of doing. You always hear about the sex, drugs, and rock and roll for the rock star, but I mean, this happens I had a group of friends, and like all of us ended up divorced because there's certain kinds of lifestyles that just are not conducive for marriage. And if you're in a lifestyle where you're traveling all the time, this happens a lot in the military. Like, guys are, they're away, and it's very, very common for the lady to run off and cheat and all the rest. It just, look, people are people, man. And when you're away from home a lot and you're working, that happens.
I feel like that a lot of times when situations happen like that, it's because one person started like listening to a lot to the self-pity, because you could feel bad for yourself, you know what I mean? Like, so he leaves, he's in the military, but that's his decision. He wants to fight for his country, or he's got certain needs as a man that he wants fulfilled in that job, and he goes off and does that. Well, she didn't necessarily choose that. Maybe she did choose it in the sense that she got with him while he was doing that for a job, but then she didn't realize like how much of a toll that was going to take on them, how much of him she was going to not get to see, blah 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 blah. And then she starts feeling bad for herself, how alone she is all the time, and she stops thinking about how alone he is. She starts thinking, well, he's the one that made this decision. He's the one that keeps staying in this, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And then before you know it, you're doing things for yourself to help yourself because you feel bad for yourself. I think it's just better to just get out of the relationship if you see that's where it's, you see that you're not going to be able to just end the relationship and don't do the thing. And then, and the other thing too is friggin', if I cheated on you, I'm not going to wait for you to find out about it and have to come in and have to play detective. I'm just going to tell you, this is what I did. You know what I'm saying? I just don't, why do that and then hide it, and just, why live like that?
Yeah. I just think
obviously I don't.
I just think it's something that happens in the moment. I don't necessarily.
Yeah, but nobody wants to find out something like that.
I understand being away so much. Like, I was in a situation where I'd just be chilling. I'd get a text and I'd have to go. Like, like you saw.
I remember it.
And I knew, like, I know that me and you, that you were not going to live that lifestyle. Period.
I just not like that.
You were just not going to live that lifestyle. So so you make decisions around that. You just have to know the person that you're with. But, if you're a rock star, it takes a very, very special woman to stay at home, put her emotional and physical needs on hold while you go out and be a rock star and get celebrated by a bunch of people. And then on the back of her mind, she's like, well, I know the reputation of all you guys, so I'm out here wasting away dying inside. You're out there on the road getting worshipped by all these people, and you probably got some girl in your truck or whatever. Like, I'm not making any excuses. I'm just saying it's a very, very, very difficult lifestyle to lead.
And like, you got to know that, okay, so he's off looking like he's single, right? You know, in a band, just no responsibility.
Yeah.
He's not fathering his children.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, she's at home, she's with the kids, so probably she's in situations where she's going around gatherings where couples are together, you know, probably a lot more boring version of men are with their children.
Sure.
And then she starts saying to herself, well, you know what?
He's boring, but he's stable.
But he's stable, right? Exactly.
Yeah, the thing is, like, if you're with a stable guy, then you want the crazy guy, and if you're with the crazy guy, you want the stable guy. It is what it is. Everybody's like that. The problem is that when your person is constantly leaving, that's when the shit gets, you know, whatever. So I get it. I understand it. I'm not excusing it. I'm just saying I get it, and I do believe, Mr. Senator, that he's literally talking about a girl cheating on him.
So I do too.
8.75.
Well, I'll tell you, I don't remember what the song sounded like, because I was like, I have to tell you, it was really creepy hearing him say, I can see you for miles and miles.
Oh, yeah.
Because it just, to me, sounded really, really like...
It is kind of stalkery.
Stalkerish, and, you know, I'm in this forum that has, like, girls of all different ages, and a lot of them, I think, are, like, you know, 18. They're more teenagers, so, you know, they'll need advice or whatever. But anyway, in one of them, the girl was like, you know, I've liked this guy for years, but I found out he's probably not interested in me, so I was, like, stalking his stuff the other night, and... but she felt bad for herself that he didn't like her, and she didn't realize, like, the big giant, like, you were stalked. So, like,
yeah,
you know, like, because I think that people have, it's really, like, been normalized. I think it's getting more and more normalized, like this stalking people's profiles and digging all this information up about people, but it is still stalking. If
Facebook stalking?
Yeah, Facebook stalking somebody when you're not in a relationship with a person, and then you stalk all their different profiles. I know, I know.
I don't know, because you made that public. Like, there's a way to make Facebook private so only your friends can see.
Yeah, I don't think that, you know, when people are scrolling through years of somebody's pictures, they're going through all their different stuff, everything that they have public. Like, nobody is, like, most people are not using it that way. Most people are like, hey, what do you like on the day-to-day? They're not trying to get every...
I don't think you've ever been aware of being stalked.
What do you mean?
Because being stalked in real life is something completely different.
Oh, I think it's different being stalked in real life. I do think that Facebook stalking is a thing, though.
Yeah, I just have a hard time correlating them, because
I've
dealt with people that have had stalkers, and it's a lot different than you put something out in a public profile. You want people to see it. If you create a Facebook page and you make it public, that means you want people to see your shit. I get it. Like, there might be a guy that ends up being obsessed with you and all the rest of it, and people call it Facebook stalking. I'm not sure that that's... Like, if people go to our page and they hang out at the Vin and Sori page and scroll through and see what we've been doing, would you consider that stalking? Or
No, because we've put ourselves out as, you know, Vin and Sori as a public figures. But when you have somebody's personal Facebook page, like, for instance, I was buying something off of Facebook, and you're having the conversation in there. You don't need to click on my profile and scroll through all my stuff to find out who I am and where I've been and who I've been talking to. And that's what the person did. And I found that really creepy that the guy did that, because then he was like, oh, hey, you know, so-and-so, and, like, started referencing other things that...
Well,
I think that's not okay.
Where you start, like, letting the person know that you spent 2 hours on their profile and now you know all these... That's definitely concerning. I don't know what I'd call it, but I'm not...
You think that it's less concerning to do it and not say it?
Yeah, it's much less concerning to do it and not say it, because people have curiosities about people. So I could understand a young lady looking at my profile and, like, hanging out in it for a long time just because they're trying to see what I'm about. But if they don't tell me about it, it's like, oh, okay, that's what this guy's about, and then you move on. I think that's something completely different than, hey, I know that 4 weeks ago on a Tuesday that you had that peanut butter and jelly sandwich and you got an allergic reaction to it. That's where the line crosses, because now I'm letting you know I know all this stuff about you. Amy's ruthless today. She says, honestly, if your significant other cheats on you, it's also your own fault.
Why? Why would you say that, Amy?
I think if they cheat on you the second time.
Yeah, Amy, like that.
I think if they cheat on you the second time, you could say it's your fault. You know, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. That you would have some culpability. I would say that you probably have some culpability if it happens the second time with the same person, but not the first time. I don't know. How
could you put the kindness of somebody and the forgiveness on somebody, put that somebody to blame for that happening to them?
Well, again, I don't look at fault as blame as in a moral issue. I look at fault as in divisions of responsibility. And so if somebody cheats on you the first time, the likelihood of them cheating on you again is massively high. So if you remain in that situation, I'm not saying you should get out, but I mean, I've been in situations like that in my life, and I don't walk around beating myself up about it. I just say I made a choice, and I knew that it was probably going to happen again, and it did. But I don't feel bad about it. I'm just saying I know with a clear eye I made that choice, and I knew with a clear eye, even though it'll never happen again, I knew most likely it was going to happen again, and I stayed anyway. Okay, I'm taking responsibility and ownership for that. But a lot of people take the term fault. It always has some moral attachment to it. I don't. I just look at it as divisions of responsibility.
Oh, I don't agree with you, Amy, at all. Because you weren't good enough. If he or she needs to cheat, you're obviously not a good fit. I don't agree with that.
Yeah, okay, well, that's something completely different. No, that's not true, Amy. It doesn't. If somebody cheats on you, it doesn't mean it's because you weren't good enough. A lot of times people cheat because they're not good enough. Mm-hmm. Right? Like for example, in this particular situation, your husband's a giant rock star, blah, 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 and you're basically nothing. You're like his tag along. Or, there's a pretty famous basketball player, and his wife has made she's come out and said it, like, what about me? And she's talked about dressing skimpily and all this other stuff to get people's attention so that she could have some attention too. And there's some accusations of infidelity on her part, yada, yada, yada. I don't think that that's because the other guy's not good enough. A lot of people, like I said, cheat because they don't feel good enough. Like the guy in the midlife crisis, all of his hopes and dreams are gone, and he thinks he's got nothing, so he leaves his wife for 20 years and hooks up with the secretary. It's not because the wife wasn't good enough, because he didn't feel good enough. So yeah, I think that aspect, Amy, is completely off. But as far as saying if somebody cheats on you and you remain with them, that you hold some responsibility for what happens after that, yeah, I absolutely believe in that. I absolutely do. But you and I look at fault differently.
We do.
You know what I'm saying? So
we do.
You can't separate the term fault from some like you're a bad person type of thing.
Right.
Whereas I'm looking at it like I'm responsible to a degree, and what the piece of the responsibility pie is, whether it's 11% or 28%, that's for God to tell us when the thing's all over. That I don't spend a lot of time thinking about what the division of the pie is. All I think about is, okay, where was my influence here and how was it used? Because I'm responsible for how I use my influence in the decisions I make. So if I make a decision that then comes back and hurts me, I can't blame the other person completely because I made that decision. And what that does for me personally is it makes me analyze and say, okay, this hurts, this doesn't feel good, I made this decision. How do I comport myself so I don't end up in that situation again? So to me, taking fault is taking responsibility, and it gives me power to change the future. So I look at it as I'm empowered, and that's why I have no problem taking responsibility for things.
How does that work in the situation of... How does it... Just say you're right, sorry. I mean, I don't know what you're talking about, but I like the sound of that. I don't see how that works in a situation where... I know, I saw Dwayne. How does that work in a situation where... How does accepting responsibility, as you call it, for staying with somebody after they've cheated on you, how does that give you some power over the future, what could possibly happen? Because I don't see how that does.
Because statistically speaking, most of those relationships are going to end. Even if you eat it for one or two occasions, those relationships are going to end. Either you're not going to be able to take it anymore, or the person's going to lose so much respect for you that they don't want to be around you anymore. So statistically speaking, those relationships are going to end. So if you take that responsibility, then you're able to go in the future and go, okay, what were the situations that led up to it? Okay, I allowed myself to get taken advantage of. There's usually a lot of buildup that happens before the actual act happens. So when you analyze it that way, you can put yourself in a position for your next relationship not to have that happen. Whereas if you put the complete, it's completely all them, it happened to you multiple times, but it's all them, it has nothing to do with you, then you're more likely to end up in the next relationship where somebody does that to you again. So to me, the trade-off is you get to be a victim and push all the blame on the other person, but you're disempowered. Or you get to be empowered and can take control of your life. But in order to do that, you've got to take some culpability for your life. And that's, to me, I would much rather that than being able to blame someone 100% completely and then I get to be innocent. I would much rather be in the first camp where I have influence over the future than to being innocent. And really, that's the trade-off. Some people value innocence. I value change. But again, it all depends on what your worldview is. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of where I go with it. But I don't think, I would never say it's because you're not good enough. I would say that the person cheating probably feels that way. Although there are people that stay in relationships after they get cheated on because they don't feel that they're good enough and that's the best that they can get. And again, that's a victim mentality, and that comes from years and years and years of always pushing off responsibility on other people, so that you're now a victimized adult and you just expect to be victimized. So the person cheats on you, you're going to stay with them because you're a victim, but you're an innocent victim. That again, this is all part of my philosophy, dear listener. All right, go ahead. Did we rate the song?
No, we did not rate the song.
8.98.
Wait, if we did, I have no idea. Again, I don't remember what the song sounded like. Like, I just can hear him saying, "I see you for miles and miles," which is really creepy to me. I'm gonna give it an 8.2. I'm sorry, it's actually not like it's really not a very fair rating because I really got sucked into the stalker lines and I felt very uncomfortable with the way that he was wording this whole thing.
Yeah.
Because it just sounded like a controlling person up on 10.
Of course. I'm sure if the situation was reversed, you'd say that controlling woman controlling the person that's cheating on him.
Well, I mean,
I'm sure that would be your
honey, say what you want, but in my mind, as this song is going on, I'm thinking about a very controlling woman, and that I could see her thinking something happened because she believed it did, and it never did. So
I could see that too.
So say what you want.
I could see that too. What did you score the song?
I gave it an 8.2.
All right. Damn, Rob Gronkowski just retired for the second time. Damn. All right. There you are, dear listener. Much love to everybody.
Another one in the books.
Another one in the books. Shout out to DJ Revo. Shout out to DJ Middle Earth. Much love to everybody. We are out of here. Vince Philosophy Channel. You'll never find it, dear listener. You will never find